Okay, fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Now we are going to, formally start the session because time is already more than 10 o'clock. So, very good morning to one and all present here, uh, through offline and the online mode. And I welcome all of you to our faculty development program, that is Upskilling Industry Skills for Media Educators 5.0, which is jointly organized by Amity Academic Staff College and Amity School of Communication, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. Today is the third day of the faculty development program, and today we have four sessions, which are mainly based upon the news in digital age theoretical understanding. The second session is based on fact-checking tools and software practices. The third one is related to the data-driven journalism and data processing and presentation. So now we are going to start the first session of the day, and the name of our resource person is Professor Dr. Arul Selvan sir. Arul sir is the director of the School of Journalism and New Media Studies, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Currently, he is the program coordinator for the school research degree. Besides that, he is developing an appreciation program in media and information literacy. He was part of UNESCO MIL South Asia Training Workshop. In 2014, he was closely associated with the establishment of MIL UNI Media and Information Literacy University Network of India, which is affiliated with GAP MIL of UNESCO, GAP MIL of UNESCO. He has more than 16 years of academic experience with the Indian University based media education system. Prior to that, he was associated with the BBC World Service Trust South Asian Online Journalism Program as a trainer, mentor, and project coordinator. Besides that, he was an Indian investigator for the International Federation of Journalists, uh, and he is the recipient of the Summer Doctoral Fellowship 2003 from Oxford Internet Institute of University of Oxford. Professor Arul is managing a digital repository on MIL, that is medialit.in. So now over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope my audio is clear for all the
Yes, audio, video, both are clear.
Right. This is the third day. I understand based on the invitations meant for faculty members from different media schools and universities. Right. Many thanks for the invitation, and glad to be part of this FTP. And today, my session, Rakesh, I want to share the screen. Okay.
Yes, sir, you can. There is a share screen button on your side. Yeah, it is visible, sir. Good morning, sir. This is Poonam.
Good morning. Right. And see, can you, Rakesh or Poonam, can you give me briefly what happened the last 2 days? What are the topics covered and what's going to be covered? I saw today's session.
So on the first day, we have covered the topic related with the artificial intelligence, chat GPT, and some other related issues. And on the second day, we discussed mainly about the grounded theory, and after that, the different aspect of mojo journalism.
Okay, right.
Yes, sir.
So this is how long? It's 11 till 11:30.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so it will be an interactive or only a lecture only.
Sir, it's up to you. If you wanted to interact with the participant, you can. Or if you wanted to give the deep insight, knowledge based information, then it's up to you, sir. Both options are open.
Participants can respond to my questions, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely, they will respond.
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's begin the session. So I'm a faculty with the School of Journalism and New Media Studies. Currently, I'm a director of the school, IGNOU, New Delhi. This is the entire FTP based on the inputs. Looks like that a lot of concentrations on uh, technology-based interventions, technology and journalism, technology and communication. So these are the areas: artificial intelligence or Mojo or ChatGPT, everything there. So in that continuation to those ideas, this is the session about how news is being handled or how news operations are happening in a digital age, particularly with the help of uh, social media and other platforms. And primarily, I was told to concentrate more on theoretical understanding, so I'll stick to that area. So how digital media is handling the news operation and from the theoretical understanding, right? So my presentations revolves around two components. One, how digital age has transformed the way we consume and produce news. Okay, that's the first part of that, news in digital age. Second part about a theoretical understanding, I'm concentrating on four broad areas. How news production and dissemination got changed from the legacy media to participatory media. What are the consequences? And the rise of citizenship. This is the extension of first point. And the third is the impact of social media on news consumption. What's happening? Because 24/7, we are connected to various media platforms and how it affects the consumption part. The last part is algorithm. Luckily, it was already covered in the earlier sessions about artificial intelligence and all. And so it will be a might be a recap. And one more thing I want to share it with you here. And since the participants are faculty members of many university and colleges, and you must be aware about many of the points I'm discussing here. And might be you might find it as a repetition. And here, I'm not here to teach more about the platform because this is known to everyone else. Primarily, the role of teacher in any settings is to talk about something which is unknown to the participants. And but unfortunately, here, all of us in the same platform, and all of us knows about mobile, knows about social media, knows about news. But we are here to trying to understand the beyond the news operation. What are the consequences and what are the challenges we are facing currently, and how we can address it in our professional life or personal life. As a teacher, we have much more to do with this subject. We tend to teach a lot about how to report a news, how to write a news story, how to follow the different styles, news values, everything. But that part we are not going to touch here. That is a different thing. And here we are going to talk about how technology plays a crucial role. And here, every one of us part of this news dissemination. Earlier, a couple of decades back, the news is particularly specific to a legacy media. It means it's a traditional mainstream media. Only professionals, only institutions, media institutions can, either government or private, with a lot of resources, they'll set up the institutions and they'll have professionals on the certain defined criteria. And only those people can generate, package it, and put it in the society. That was the scenario. That's the concept still continues. But with the advent of online, particularly the last 1.5 decades, from 2005 onwards, the participation become more meaningful. And here we are no longer a passive receiver. I'm not just receiving the messages in my Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, but here equally, if there is a major crisis in my locality, for example, there is a mild earthquake, you might have seen in the Delhi area, whenever there is a mild earthquake happens 11:30 midnight, 11:30, 12:15, 12:25 and all, suddenly immediately go to Twitter. You can see that there's a trend goes here. People reacting about the earthquake. They are sharing their experiences of photograph, video. We had earlier, we had to wait for next morning 6:30 or 7 o'clock to receive the newspaper or earliest news bulletin in the television channels. But here, 14th second of the incident, you just next time when you try that, third second, fourth second, because the Twitter you can see the latest trend on that. It runs in a seconds. See that the how we are not no longer need to do depend on any branded news platform. I'm not taking any name here. You can refer it to whatever the international, national, regional, local, city-based channels or newspapers. You connect with them. We are no longer depending on that. We means I'm not saying all the 140 crore people, but a large chunk of people. Okay, and assumption is 93% of the Indian population are having a mobile connectivity, and in that good number of people, big number, maybe more than 2/3 of them are having a smartphone. Relatively, they have a good knowledge about accessing content and everything. So, with that assumption, I'm talking about. That's a other part of the game. That is, people who are not connected are connected without having a proper skills and competency. That discussion, the topic is completely altogether different. So, we are not going to discuss about little about that. But here we're talking about people who are having a connection, having a knowledge, have interest in news, current affairs, or incidents happening in around the locality, country, or region, or whatever part. So that is the point around this discussion, right? So the initial point here is we need to understand how we consume and produce. Everyone knows about that, but I'm just throwing some points. Might be we can debate, discuss, agree, disagree, whatever point. But here, many of the points must be known to all of us, right? So this is the discussion. Primarily, you have to take it that way, saying that how the platform faced a kind of massive change in the news operation, where the individuals started playing a major role, not necessarily mainstream media. So this is the crossroad. We have the crossroad, saying that the traditional mainstream media, they are still the dominant player, and another dominant player is institutional, not institutional based, individual based, institutional based news operation and individual contributions. Here, the online platform, this is what happening there. Okay, and internet and social media gave a lot of opportunity for each one of us to produce and distribute news content. And here, the definition of news content, not necessarily the way a particular news channel or newspaper packaging the content. Even a fraction of some words, we can share it through Twitter, or you can pictures and videos, audio, or some people creating memes or infographics. Depends upon the scenario, and there's no strict rules and regulations where the institutional platform, rules and regulations, gatekeeping, and many more roles, responsibilities are fixed, and they are bound by legal and ethical guidelines. Those guidelines are still mandatory, but it's not strictly followed in institutional point of view. Institutional point of view, they're doing. Individual point of view is not strictly followed, and many of the individuals are contributing with so many perspectives, opinions loaded and biased. Many things are happening. So this is the challenge for us now. And remember that I said 93% of population is having mobile connectivity, and internet connectivity is close to 70%. We are the second country in the world with the highest number of internet users, either mobile based or computer, laptop, tab or thing. But mobile seems to be the popular platform. And India, you can consider as a mobile rich nation. We are heavily dependent on wireless connectivity. Our broadband is very poor, still very poor, though private players are offering internet connectivity in a couple of good speed, Mbps, 150, 300, 1 Gbps and all. But remember that those connectivities are limited. In the global context, if you take the ICT infrastructure, we are not very good. But still, we have large number of mobile connectivity. The connectivity, internet penetration, mobile penetration became very popular only because we have adopted a wireless connectivity. From 2G onwards, 2004-5 onwards, till now, the huge number of expansion of internet users, mainly thanks to the mobile connectivity, not through the fiber optic connectivity, because fiber optic is the one that gives a lot of scope for complete participation. Whereas if you go to South Korea or Japan or Europe or America, all right, broadband connectivity is 97%. And the average speed much higher than in India. And here, this is a problem. We have a very bad infrastructure in terms of telephone connectivity a couple of decades back. So we haven't got a good opportunity to move to fiber optic immediately, because our infrastructure was very limited to the urban based, and lot of scarcity. You might be able to recollect, or maybe from your family, elder people can understand that telephone waiting list usually runs in some months, sometimes years also, depends upon the locality and everything. So that was a limited opportunity of infrastructure, telecom infrastructure. Whereas if you compare with the developed countries from Asia or Europe and America, they had a very strong telecom network. Coaxial cable earlier, but they have to replace the coaxial to fiber optic. They did it very easily. So that's why they're able to reach the broadband to the nook and corner of the country, 97% connectivity in majority of the developed countries. But whereas the broadband connectivity is very limited here, but mobile is much more. So that is one point you need to understand, that how individuals are able to participate here. Massive number, close to 800 to 850 million people having mobile connectivity, internet, and luckily we have very cheapest data plans, and the 1 GB of internet connectivity is cost very nominal in Indian context. So anyone can access the internet, provided the limitations are there, the language, understanding, ability, use those material, technology, and utilize those technology opportunity for individual or professional benefit, right? So news consumption got changed, titanic shift, changed part, and we are not no longer relying on branded new media platform, but our primary source of information got changed over the period of time in social media, particularly youngsters. Youngsters are more, they may not get from the traditional social media, they have moved to InShots, Instagram and everything. They're moving to a very small niche way of presentation thing. So another point is algorithm. Algorithm also playing a very significant role. Later we are going to discuss about the sociological dimension of algorithm, how there are some issues about that, right? And then I said that the institutional journalism practices always bound to follow the rules, regulations, legal framework, and ethical constraints, and they have the social functionality, everything. So their contribution is different. And whereas comes to individual level, though these are mandatory, but since the platform gives enormous opportunity for anonymous participation, and profile can be masked and can be taken at different avatars, and identity can be taken in different level. So It can be an individual, or it can be a syndicate of individuals, or it can be a organized system of propagating certain types of information. So that leads to the rise of fake news and misinformation is rampant. I'm not saying in the society there was no fake news, there was no information in the entire human history. Suddenly, all of a sudden, the social media gave a platform for massive expansion of fake news and misinformation. No, I'm not saying that. The society, wherever the human society practiced, wherever they lived, they had this issue for a long time. Since the verbal or oral or can't reach the massive level, there's always the filtration. Once the news comes to me, and I may react in different manner, and you might react in different manner, and you might pass on this information to your near and dear in different level. If you take 10 people, so definitely 6 people might transmit the information further without processing it. But at least 4 people, they'll think, then they'll filter it, then they'll pass it on to others. That's how the fake news and misinformation, it was controlled. I'm not saying it was not there at all. It was controlled in a normal mode. And when the communication technology became a massive, the news reach become wider and entire social setup. But institutions behaved in a very mature manner, and due to the legal constraints, ethical bindings, and the social responsibility. So they can't go for massive fake news and misinformation, because understand that the loyalty and credibility directly linked with the profit of their company. So no private companies, and after some certain period of the last century, the media companies are majority owned by private enterprises. Private enterprises means this is a business, and they're not running the news operation for the sake of kind of welfare measures. They are running, and they're employing so many number of people, resources they are utilizing. Of course, they have to take the profit. The profit is attached with your news operation. The entire discussion, I'm talking about news only. So the profit is attached to the news operation. And no owner, no editor, or no responsible media professionals dare to take a responsibility to damage their own credibility and loyalty. If you damage the credibility and loyalty, damage your profit. So nobody can dare to go that direction. Mild way they'll do it, in a very subtle way they'll do it. It might take time for the ordinary people to understand the fake and misinformation in the normal mainstream media. The way the rampant, very visible fake and misinformation is happening in social media, that is a bit difficult to notice it, but it's happening. But happening in a different way. They'll take very lot of care about these kind of operations in order to safeguard their business interest. Okay, but whereas it comes to individual, what is the loss for me? As an individual, I might have 10,000 followers or 1 million followers. I may be a celebrity, or I may be a political opponent. My survival based on my opinion, based on my stand, could be right or left or center, because that's my identity. And this is the kind of people, social influencers, and other people, a lot of billions of individuals without much influence, but all together they're creating a trends, virals, and opinion. All these are collectively look at that. There's a strong force behind syndicated misinformation, syndicated fake news. And as a matured internet users, you might take it in a different level. Think about the people who are accessing in a younger age without much knowledge about these kind of social consequences and the agenda behind the misinformation, fake news, and they tend to become a scapegoat for this kind of motivated and agenda campaign. Okay, so these are some kind of issues and all that. So the mobile it's become a major tool, and in order to catch up with the individual competition, institutions also started adapting to the digital age by developing online platform. Now, you may not be able to find any media organization that doesn't have a strong presence in a social media. Definitely, they must be having a website. But website operations is kind of become a secondary, but the massive support and operations goes in a social media, because that brings the more traffic to the website. Ultimately, they're presenting news through the platform only, website only. Videos or text or picture, everything is there in the website, but they reach to the audience through social media. They'll bring the audience to their website, and social media, it has its own limitations of sharing limited information, but they'll provoke the people to come and visit the website and get the information, right? That's a one. And as I mentioned about the earthquake and happening in Delhi, here the news cycles become at 24 hours. Unlike the earlier 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, at least they'll break during the late evening to next day morning. But now, because of different time zones, the digital platform is active 12 hours in one region, another 12 hours in another region. But when you are inactive, you are tend to get news continuous. You are bombarded with the information, a lot of information, right? And it has its own this is an advantage. One way you can advantage that the digital tools, a lot of tools are available and free of cost and simplified, takes less effort to present information in a very attractive manner. Complex ideas can be presented in a simple manner. One of the examples is infographics. And another one is the institutional media, the legacy media started using social media participatory opportunity for engaging with the audience. Normally, what happens, right? The audience profile, if you look at the audience profile, usually mostly a passive audience. Passive audience sense is the newspaper, television channels, or radio reaches the whole country, and they can't give a space for the individuals to respond, participate, and influence their operation. That's not possible. Mostly, we are in a passive manner. And now we can see that digital media has come, then the participation became expanded. So everybody is participating. That's not happening also. Equally, if you look at that, we are saying digital media is giving a lot of opportunity for participation. You have with the mobile, you can take a picture, you can share it. And I can easily challenge you that you go to your class or within this class itself, find out that how many of us active in sharing, posting materials, videos, pictures, information about day-to-day affairs continuously. The participation of common internet users in the online platform is very, very limited. And our participation is very majority. 2/3 of our participation linked with a very minute secondary level of participation, saying that we might like it, we like the post, we may share it. At the most, to some extent, we write some comments, and posting is the highest top priority of limited number of people. So the social media also, the concept of participation is kind of illusion. It's not 100%. I would say that the social media or digital media, whatever platform on technology-based platform, audience participation still passive. Still, it's we are saying the platform is good. Technology provides a lot of participation, but we are not participating. We are not participating the way it expects that, the way that opportunities are available. Equally, we are not responding. There are a lot of issues in that. A lot of issues on that. Might be during the discussion we can talk about that. I'll cover this topic, then maybe a couple of minutes we can discuss, then we'll continue the presentation, right? And this is second point about so far I discussed about how we are consuming or producing news. Now we are shifting to the theoretical components. Theoretical components means we are understanding that the communication process and how it got changed in the digital platform, particularly in the context of news. Before moving to the theoretical understanding, if Rakesh, if we can expect any questions, queries, comments, observations, I think we will wait for it, then I'll continue. Rather than I don't want to continuously speak from my point of view, so that I won't recommend that. If the participants wants to add new points, I'm very happy to hear about that.
Yes, sir. So, anybody wanted to ask any question related with the uh, session of Professor Arul, sir? Do you have
If
any
no,
question?
Rakesh, if no question comes, but then my point of view is correct. The participation is always passive, even though in
Yes,
our
yes.
platform.
Sir,
Yeah.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
I am Professor Seva Singh Bajwa from Chaudhary Devilal University, Sirsa, and I'm very much impressed when you conducted a workshop there in IGNOU some months ago. But today I want to say that when do the fake news creep in through this citizen journalism and all these things? And what about the disinformation and misinformation which is spread through these digital media channels? What to do about that?
See, it's like a corona COVID situation. Virus you can't eliminate. It will stay in our human civilization for the next couple of millions of years. So virus we can't remove that. Well, how we are coped with that? We got immunity via vaccination and everything. So the fake news, the misinformation, disinformation, you can't remove from the human communication aspect. It will be remain. It will be remain in many more millions of years. But we have to equip ourselves. But remember that we need to understand the logic or the reason behind the fake news and misinformation and misinformation. Nobody is doing for us by mistake. Remember that. Fake news or misinformations or disseminations are deliberate attempt, very consciously decided strategy. And it is an interruptive attempt to mobilize the opinion in favor of someone or to oppose something. It's a very calculated effort. And the big team is working, big institutions working, a lot of money is involved, and massive resources being used for misinformation, fake news, and disinformation thing. Right? As an individual, we can't counter. Definitely, we can't counter. Either if you say these are fake news, if you classify them, tomorrow they'll come with a different idea. The technology, that's the beauty of the technology. If government restricts certain platform, you can access it in a different manner. It's not like a television or newspaper. Once government seals the printing press, printer can't print it immediately because you need another printer permission, circulation, everything. Here, if you somebody's blocked your account, you create another account. And if this platform is not allowing, you go to another platform. So plenty of opportunity here available. So you can't stop it. The only solution is, and we have to equip ourselves how to identify fake news, what is the misinformation, what is disinformation. As long as we are passive, then we are succumb to the fake news. Once we become active, whatever information coming to me, I will think twice before accepting that point. The timing of the information and who delivers that, which platform is being given, what is the context. If you ask this couple of questions before accepting any opinion, right? So you are safeguarding yourself from the misinformation and disinformation. Remember that the main agenda behind this effort is to change your opinion. And if we are very passive, we'll succumb to the attempt, we'll change your opinion. It gets reflected in our democratic process, social participation, collectively, and it leads to the power, right? The social power. Controlling the power is a very crucial part. But that's a very alarming effort. Unfortunately, we are not going to that level of alarm. It's a very, very massive problematic. It's not biologically disturbing as because it's mental connected to the mindset, opinion, and all right. We're not realizing that it's affecting the social setup. Because COVID, we realized that because a lot of deaths happening, a lot of health consequences, many issues are suddenly is being reflected. We are afraid about our life now. But equally, it's not affecting our body, but it's affecting our mind. But we are casually discussing, okay, fact news, misinformation, disinformation happening. So we have to be a little bit careful. So the way I'm saying, a little careful, we have to be safeguard ourselves. This is what's happening, but it's the impact consequences, since it's happening in the online, you're streaming it. I can't go publicly with a lot of personal information or the specific names and all. I can't take it, but hopefully you'll understand the how a system is working, a massive system is working to mobilize the opinion in favor of someone, either corporate or political or social. There are so many ideological players, profit-oriented, non-profit oriented, for sake of opinion in favor of somebody or in opposing someone else or group or institution, ideology, whatever. Okay, so this is a little alarming one. But what is the solution for that? Since I'm from the background I'm coming, I would say that as a media literacy is the one solution I can say that because that's a vaccination, I can recommend that. And unfortunately, in India, we don't have very good, strong media literacy interventions or training. So that's another drawback here. Policy framework was very poor.
Thank you, Arul sir. This is Sunit Mukherjee from MDU, and yeah, good morning. And
morning.
As Mr. Bajwa said, it's really a challenge. But yes, you're absolutely right. There is a method in their madness. Whosoever are the players behind this agenda-driven, this exercise of misinformation, disinformation, and all that. But yes, since though MIT has already converted to a 4-year course as per NEP, when all these universities are converting to 4-year pattern in NEP, we as media educator can at least ensure a paper or course on media literacy or on fact checking, so that we empower our students to fight this menace. This is humbly I can suggest, right, sir?
See, I'll add one more point. You take any media training department, public or private, whatever thing, our aim is to make our students employment oriented, industry oriented. Once they finish the program, they'll get a job. What the industry wants someone who can sell the product to bring the profit. Don't take it otherwise. This is the reality in the media department, media industry. Okay, media industry, I'm saying not a department, media industry. Because the media industry is profit oriented. And from the, I'm also part of this training package. Whatever we are doing, you and me, everyone part of this game. What we are doing is we are packaging entire 2 years, 4 years, whatever period of training. We are training the students of media students for the industry. And we are talking about the headlines should be attractive and the picture should be like this and the news should be written like this manner. You have to retain the students, retain the audience attention. Our priority is how to retain the audience attention in our content. You take whatever exercise, your concept related to media training, simply centers around one point. Keep the audience engaged. Keep the audience stays with you and keep their attention stays. What we are going to achieve that. If they stay longer period of time, more money. If they stay loyal to you, more money. If they read continuously, more money. Ultimately leads to what? Profit only. So indirectly, media training centers, don't take it otherwise, being a critical of this point. And we are helping the industry to make more money. This is what we are doing. Luckily, you are saying media literacy should be part of that. But I would say that even along with the media literacy separate courses, every platform where we are providing a media training, right? Of course, they have to get employment because that's what our survival. Otherwise, if they're not getting employed, then the department become meaningless, and there won't be any takers on that. Of course, they have to get employed, but equally, wherever whichever the platform, we have to inject or we have to train them from the social point of view. Do this way, but equally think about other concepts. Think about other things. Of course, it will be might be a little more pessimistic if we talk about more negative about the platform. So they may not get interest in the working in the platform, but of course they have to get employed. They should work, but we have to make sure that they are responsible media professional to the society. That's what we have to add, that media literacy is one of the.
Thank you, sir. But it's in 1960s, Abbas sang "Money, money, money. It's a rich man's world." So it has been a rich man's world, and it will be. So I don't deny it. But yes, as media educator, we must inject this bit of ethical aspect in our students. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Right. So if you know other comments, shall I proceed with Rakesh? You are mute.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Proceed
sir.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll take another couple of, because we have time till 11:30, and
Yes.
so some points I'll still. This is the here onwards I'm talking about the theoretical understanding. Of course, I'm not going to any theory as such, but concept kind of concepts begin the means of, we have to here it's a communication process. News is a information sharing platform, and it's a part of the communication exchange. And here we're thinking from the conceptual framework point of view. So what could be the different perspectives to understand the operation? One other point here I'm talking about democratization. Democratization means the earlier some decades back, the news operation is in a monopoly of mainstream media. 90s, 80s and all, we can't think about as an Arul Selvan or as Sunit or Dr. Bajwa, we can't think about writing a story or posting a picture through a national television, reaching out to the entire country. We can't think about that. Was a monopoly. Our contribution that point of time was just to receive whatever was being given to us. And how it was given, you know all these about all the operations. But now the digital platform, they have given rights, abilities, competencies, skills, platform, to everyone, not only individuals, even institutions, government, stakeholder, everyone. They have got the ability to communicate to everyone, produce and distribute news content. Whether we are doing or not, that's different set of questions. Okay, but we have the ability. And remember that. And if the common citizens are not participating in a public affairs, then there is a limited scope of growth in that country. Country will grow. In the infrastructure will develop. More resources will come. More money will be pumped. Until otherwise, the individuals are not participating, the growth is very, very slow. Take a classic example of Singapore and Japan. Within the shortest possible time, they got a tremendous advancement. Not simply because of government policy, not because of implementation of policy. 50%, I would say that it's because of common people participating. The civic participation or political participation or non-political participation of individuals in a public platform makes a huge difference in the society. Unfortunately, that's not happening in India or in many of the developing countries, because of this democratization and the communication is possible to each and every one of people who are connected. And I'm repeating the point, many of us are still in the passive. Though the platform is active and we are still passive. You can introspect yourself. For example, mine. I can't write a story, I can't share the information publicly, regularly. I'm not doing. That's different. But my administrative role is different. But even otherwise, individual, I'm very limited. I'm not doing anything. There are many people like that, millions. 2/3 of people like me. We are very passive audience. The participation is limited. Okay. This is the one criticism of this platform. We are not utilizing this platform in full strength. Not necessarily, I'm not saying the participation for the social welfare. Do the participation, participate properly and engage yourself. There is one of the concept in the participation is psychological engagement. This is what strongly many people are recommending. You equip yourself, you empower yourself, and have right information with you, and have adequately informed. This is called psychological engagement. This is if individuals are able to achieve this psychological engagement or psychological empowerment, that leads to massive differences in the society. Okay, half truth is very damaging. This is what we are living here. Many people not able to take efforts to equip ourselves. Okay, so this is a participation doesn't mean that civic participation, political participation, non-political participation through internet for some public welfare. That's extreme form of participation, but I strongly recommend that psychological engagement of individual for sake of individual empowerment that leads to a tremendous change in the society. Right. Though the digital platforms giving a lot of opportunity, like a blogs, social media platform, online news websites, wiki, or streaming, plenty of opportunities we have. And there are good open source news operations happening through wiki platform and all. And many efforts have been taken to collect the news sources and collect the information and publish that. That's how a lot of alternative news production is happening through online part. Hyper local news operations. Couple of journalists, they gather together, work in a particular city, they'll report about that particular city. A lot of people who migrated outside the city or diaspora, they are connected to their city through this hyper local operation. That's happening. But again, that is limited to the political and civil or city-based instance. Okay, so that's also happening. And third important point is it got disrupted traditional gatekeeping process. I guess you must be knowing this concept of gatekeeping. Gatekeeping in the sense all the information is never passed down to society. When I'm talking about traditionally institutionalized media news companies. In a day, they used to get thousands of news informations from multiple sources. That's the role of newsroom, and there's a lot of responsibility from different hierarchical positions. They'll filter that. They'll filter on based on various factors. News value is one. Other than that, a lot of business interest, editor's choice, political affiliation, locality, and social engagement. There are various factors plays a crucial role in filtering the information, gatekeeping. And we'll get a very filtered information and with a lot of refinement added, whatever opinion biases, objectivity, whatever objectivity, I won't believe in 100% objectivity, right? That even nobody follows that kind of objectivity, right? But of course, but that kind of gatekeeping, at least you can filter out unwanted information, fake news, misinformation, all this happens that. Whereas in the individual level, and this is what a democratization is better, but the gatekeeping is not happening. Individual, everybody is doing on their own, and there's no regulatory bodies for individuals. There's no news corporations, and the social media platform, they have their own regulatory mechanism. Remember that it's their own.
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook means they own.
After lunch, 2 पेपर दे दूंगा, 4 हैं, 2 कल दे दूंगा. पता नहीं किसका होगा मैडम.
Excuse me, it's the humble request to all the participants, please mute your mic.
After lunch, madam.
Bajwa sir,
If you are getting me, please mute your mic.
Bajwa sir,
Please mute
please.
your mic. All of you are getting me?
उनको बोल देना कि 4 आईडी गई हैं, 2 लिफाफे गए हैं. हाँ, इसमें तो 2. हाँ, ठीक है. ठीक जी, ठीक.
Mute the participants, right? Okay.
So I'm just requesting, a few participants are not following the norms and the rules and regulation of the online, FDP. So please follow the, basic guidelines of the, online participation, and accordingly, just mute your mic. and listen each and everything very carefully, because the important and the highly important session is going on. As sir is delivering the different aspect of the democratization of the news production, and the gatekeeping and the process of gatekeeping impact and effect, and the how we are facing the issue because of the gatekeeping or the democratization of the news production or the dissemination. So just try to listen each and everything carefully, and accordingly follow the first thing is follow the basic guidelines. So please mute your mic during the session. Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Right. So this is the one advantage, means that leads to independent alternative news sources. We need independent alternative news sources because these opportunities may not exist in a traditional news platform, because independence, alternative viewpoints are highly restricted due to various reasons. Various reasons is, but primarily for corporate reasons. There are two primary reasons. One is corporate and political reasons. Secondary is a sociological and cultural in limitations. On that basis, because I said news is a profit-based venture, they can't compromise the laws. They can't compromise the loyalty. They can't compromise the credibility. They can't compromise the their position with the power center, right? So the lot of limitations. Whereas in online platforms, group of small individuals, they can work as an independent. There are a lot of classic examples happening in India, abroad. A small team functioning as news entrepreneurs. Remember that this is a new platform, and they're challenging the power. They're challenging the various dominant ideology. Many things happening, not necessarily in India, abroad also. So this is the point. Diversity comes, multiple viewpoints comes if we able to encourage independent alternative news sources. But equally, the damaging part is the informations are loaded with agenda, opinion, views, misinterpretation of information, a lot of things. Lack of gatekeeping, we have a good opportunity for alternative and independent news sources that leads to diversity and multiplicity of the viewpoints. But equally, the damaging part is a wrong interpretation, misinformation, disinformation of materials. Right. So one advantage with the democratization is it leads to proliferation of diverse voices and perspectives. Not necessarily that. So, for example, in a country there are 100 news channels, but 66 channels belongs to one company, and other remaining 34 belongs to two more companies, and those three companies are pro-government. Then think about the news discussion. Entire day, entire month, entire year, prime time, they talk about one point of view, one opinion, they'll do that. We may not have diversity. We may not get the wider range of social political viewpoints. Scope is limited. But in online platform, because of democratization, if you are able to pinpoint which is correct, which is wrong, if you have that ability, then this is the goal to mine to get the diversity and different viewpoints on particular theme. Diverse viewpoint, you get that, right? But you need to know which one is correct, which one is not correct. If you're able to distinguish these 2 points, and in an online platform, plenty of opportunity to get the diversity, different viewpoint, perspectives, counterpoints, everything. Okay, so but that's available, that's happening. But it amidst the misinformation, disinformation, because everything is a mixed masala is happening. We need to know how to distinguish these two processes. If we're able to do that, you can ignore the unwanted one, you can go for the diversity, multiple viewpoints. That's really good for any social setup. And another important outcome of democratization is citizen journalism. Citizen journalism is individual participation in the civic affairs, political affairs. I said in the participation, the highest order of participation is civic and political participation. As an individual, I'll think a lot more about my welfare, my family, right? Within my family, whatever happening in my immediate street. Okay, how many of us reflected in the Facebook or Twitter, tagging the the local authority do something. We are doing. I'm not saying nobody's doing. We are doing, but a very limited number of people. There are committed journalists, and they are not affiliated to any institutions. They're committed for the nearest environment, local community, society, and they're with the very genuine interest. They'll come. They are working to contribute a significant perspective about the local community. This is called citizen journalism. It's not happening because of internet. It's happened earlier also. There you would have noticed many before internet time. There were a lot of efforts of handwritten magazines, local satellite, local cable television, local radio stations, right? Community radio, radio televisions are happening here. I'm saying with there is an effort happened without any regulatory mechanism, without taking license. They came forward. They started working for welfare of the small community. That happened earlier. When I was my student of master's level, I studied my master's level. I studied the dissertations about handwritten alternative magazines of rural side. I'm talking about rural side, rural locality, and handwritten news magazines. I'm talking about it was during the internet period only, but it was not there in the rural side, right? And it was amazing response. I really happy that my supervisor he shown a lot of interest to explore the alternative news platform and the traditional platform. It's not printed; it's a handwritten, and photocopy also problematic for them because it's expensive that point of time. That's being the small team people. They write one original, they'll duplicate in maybe 50 or 60 or 70 copies. They circulate in the one city. Very, it may not be 40, 50 pages, 10 pages, 12 pages, and maybe 7, 8 stories without any picture. And it's a very interesting part. That kind of people, that kind of attitude, those wants to, they are those who are caring, they're caring about their own neighborhood. They are called citizens. They are the one hyper local news operation and Facebook is different. This is a miniature form of national daily. This is a miniature form of one language newspaper, hyper local news form. Citizen journalism is different. They don't have any political ideology. They are not affiliated to any cultural institutions. Their intention is to do something for neighborhood. Online platform is giving a lot of opportunity for them to work on it. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things are happening. This is called citizen. This is another term we can say. Citizen journalism is meant for civic welfare, political welfare, and there are people that are working beyond civic and. I think under the civic you can include everything. Political may be one dimensional, but civic is multi-dimensional part. Okay, so this is the one advantage of democratization part, and another one is so you can participation, comments and everything that mobile technology enabled. It is one of the opportunity to real time anywhere they can do that. They have engaged with the participant. At least if we are not able to write something about my own neighborhood, at least we used to sometimes change our profile picture for the sake of some support. At least that we can do it. Instead of my picture, sometimes I'll put some black color, I'm protesting. And I might raise the hand for certain issues. Limited level, we are doing that. At least a lot of people are doing. They're not contributing, but at least this part we are doing. Right. So this is at least one. This is we can say that non-political participation. We can say that. Okay. But still, I'm advocating for that psychological empowerment. That is, get the information, empower yourself. Right. Another point about again the democratization. The impact is the challenge to verify the accuracy and credibility of the solution is media literacy. Maybe in this context, we can say the news literacy. Okay. So this is the one. And now because of online platform, news organization also, they're adapting a new trend of engaging with participation. So national dailies in the prime time, they'll create a trend hashtag, or they'll ask opinion, and some of the opinion good to again see that, remember that If the hashtag is being created, you will find thousands of stories, thousands of comments, thousands of opinions, all of them not get reflected. Again, it's being filtering, the gatekeeping happening. Whichever point of view they think is suitable for their audience, that meets their criteria, is get reflected in the prime time. Okay, not everything. And luckily that the social media big player Twitter, the owner is talking about a lot of the platform needs to be free for liberty, opinion, free opinion, everything. He's talking about that. So we are talking about another point is this, we might discuss a little more about how digital age has disrupted this traditional gatekeeping part. And the traditional disruption in traditional gatekeeping leads to increased competition. One, competition is become very hyperactive. They become very hyperactive. Earlier, they were competing with each other. Television channel A and television channel B. They used to compete. Maybe A, B, C, D, whatever number you have. Our newspaper, they're competing in the locality. One city or one region, they'll do that. But now, all together, they're competing with the technology. They have to catch up with the 24 into 7. The news is breaking continuously in the social media platform. Similarly, they have to do it. And now you might have seen in the, definitely you might have seen that either in a newspaper or on television, particularly in an online news portal, there's a live news reporting. There is in ongoing development, stories are updated in every second. It's like a social media platform. Yeah, one advantage, right? We don't need to run around multiple social media platforms. We go to one newspaper on the, but if you're interested in one ongoing stories, there's a continuous updates about developments, sports event, major national event, crisis. These are literally happening in a live news development. The way the cricket is being updated earlier, right? This is being updated in common routine events here nowadays. So this is a new development. The channels and newspapers are competing with the technological platform. Okay, this is the one. And quality, reliability, and absence of traditional gatekeeping. This is another consequences. The consequences, erosion of public trust in journalism, particularly youngsters. It's a long-term issue for sustainability of many traditional newspapers. That's also not good. New York Times, they started getting more profit from online now. They started facing a lot of losses in the traditional printing machines. They are focusing more on online now. The reason is, one, the youngsters, they prefer mostly online technology-based news outlets. And more damaging in Indian context, I would say, may not be this coming immediately, months and years. The long term, it definitely created trouble for the traditional newspapers and channels. Again, that is not good sign for society. Why I'm saying, if you look at that population is growing, we have become number one, and large chunk of populations are youngsters. The democratic dividend, population dividend, they're saying, right? It's become a young population nowadays compared to China or Europe, where the population age is 35, 49, 51, like that goes. But here is 27, 29. So we have a large number of youngsters, many of them unskilled, a large chunk of not educated, illiterate. So large chunk of people, but they're connected with the online, easily connected. They prefer to take a lot of information. So this leads to this kind of misinformation, quality, reliability issues, right? Because they're competing with each other. So there's a lot of there's a one news report recently came about how much they're trusting the newspapers and public channels and everything. That's being comparatively reduced compared to last decade. So this is a little alarming issue, and the traditional mainstream media need to take care about the consequences. This is one of the consequences part. So little more about citizen journalism. I think I gave a lot of information about citizen journalism, ALS rights. And one other point is one advantage, right? The mainstream media or hyper local newspapers or everything, the main news production, news disseminations mainly catching with a reach out to the larger audience. Someone covering from Delhi about the Assam flood, they will rely on our understanding about Assam or remote locations of South India or East or West, wherever. But somebody from within Assam, close to Kaziranga, talking about the flood inside the Kaziranga wildlife sanctuary, and they'll give a lot of information about their understanding because they know a lot about that locality. They have good connections, so they'll get a good viewpoint from the local perspectives. Well, you will find quality, much more quality stories coming from citizen journalism on these kind of remote areas. But that is one of the big point of mainstream media. Mainstream media mainly works in the urban centers and the periphery, right? The periphery areas are the one they always neglect. And unfortunately, the Indian population, it's a large majority of the population lives in a peripheral area. They are become majority isolated, marginalized sections in the news platform. Okay, so this is the one, this is being challenged in the digital age through the citizens. But of course, they can't sustain very long period of time because they're not getting any money out of this process. Commitment, how long they can sustain the commitment for a longer period of time. Okay, so this is the one. And so again, the operates outside the traditional newsroom operation. They may not follow the particular style of packaging, but they'll add flavor of their own personal information from local connections and much more information about the quality part. Okay. And one advantage with the citizen journalists, they'll give voice to underrepresented community, as I said, the marginalized sections who are working in who are living in a peripheral area, which is ignored, which is the area neglected by the mainstream media. Unfortunately, that's become a massive majority audience segment in Indian context. So they have one catering to the citizen journalism. But again, the challenge is those stories coming from citizen journalism about underrepresented community, right, consumed by the people in urban. This is a challenge because they are talking about underrepresented, so they can't in a position to access it. But recently, that earlier BBC correspondent is working in Chhattisgarh. He innovated, not a recent story, the earlier story, and he overcome this kind of digital inequality. So the farmers, rural women, unable to understand the local problem, right? Because the language issue, illiteracy, they can't read, write, they can't access computer, they doesn't have a smartphone. So he started a news operations based on IVR, interactive voice recording technology. What are the customer care working, right? Similarly, common people, they can report the story through mobile call, that too a free telephone number, toll-free number. So the calling facilities are free, and they can report a story, and it will be served in the, it will be stored in the server, and anyone can listen to the story. You call the another number, one number for reporting a story, another number to listen to the story. So there are 10 people in the village, in the locality, at least 2 people interested to report the story, and they'll call the number and they'll give the information in the shortest possible. Of course, he took the pain to train those people. You have to speak clearly and consciously and speak in a very shortest period of time because nobody's ready to listen to the story for 7-8 minutes. So he succeeded in that part. Voice enabled news aggregator. He won this international award also for this exercise, and that is a way. See, they are overcoming the technological limitations. The citizen journalism, this is a new experiment. Like that, there are many more experiments happening here, right? Okay, and they can include diverse, inclusive stories, and then citizen journalism accuracy verifications may not be like a non-professionals, but they are very committed. Most likely, they may not misinterpret the information. Most likely, not all of them. Okay. And but they're challenging the traditional power structures, citizens, and so that's because of online technological platforms. And another point here, the theoretical understanding is the impact of social media on news operations. And social media has become a primary source of information for youngsters, particularly in India or in developed countries, wherever they. Twitter, Facebook become a little outdated nowadays, and this is maybe a part of aged people. And Instagram or news set of news aggregators, they become very popular here, and and it can spread the information widely. Even news organizations, they're using social media to reach out to the large sections of people. So sharing the news stories it's the popular activity in the social media platform. Either the story is coming from the mainstream media or individuals. But remember that here again, the news sharing, if you look at the trend, a lot of stories from the mainstream media stories are shared frequently. So here the traditional news operation institution scoring higher because of the credibility. And though many of them not going to the newspaper or television channels or websites, but they're accessing their news social media handles, their stories are being frequently shared compared to the normal story. But exception is there. Exceptions are some suddenly individual unknown stories have become viral. That's not a routine matter, but this is a routine matter. Okay, and social media algorithm influence the what you shouldn't watch content you want to see that. I have a separate slide on algorithm. We'll discuss more about that part. And okay, engagement, feedback, user generated content. It's a routine matter. Misinformation, fake news, that's already discussed. One interesting point is social media platform. Through that platform, news sharing, it leads to creation of online communities. For example, the climate crisis is not an entertainment story. It's not a human interest story. It's a typical hardcore daily event. And newspapers or traditional media usually treat those events, anything related to climate change, right? Guardian newspaper, they are calling their regular reporting as a climate crisis, not calling as a climate change. Climate change is a routine matter. Climate crisis is an alarming word. So that's what they are doing. So traditional newspapers, they have limitations, particularly developing countries. They can't afford a separate dedicated reporter for covering climate change. So mainly they rely on the press releases, wire agencies, or some celebrities talking about environmental stories, or a major event, accident, whatever thing related to environment. If it happens, then you will find a lot of stories in the newspapers. Unlike that, social media, there is a group created, the community, online community is being created around the world on news topics. There is a one Sweden girl, she created a lot of disturbances in the social media platform on climate change. Everybody must be knowing about her name. Right. This is one example I'm saying. There are a lot of incidents happen in India also affiliated to that girl. And like that, a lot of issue-based community, like-minded. So online community means what? It's a community that's not living in a locality, but lives in a cyberspace. But what is the characteristics? The characteristic is all the individuals are joined together in that space based on the interest, common interest. But they are coming from various geographical locations, various time zones. May not happen continuous discussion of live interaction, but bulletin boards, common posting, round the clock is happening on the particular theme. You will find plenty of online communities on news topics in the social media platform continuously talking about them. Definitely you will find them, even in Indian context also. That's one of the new developments. I'm not saying this is a recent development, but the day that social media become popular, right? The gathering of interested people on one location talking about Simplest one is the hashtag. Create a hashtag about one event and they sustain the discussion continuously. That leads to creation of groups in the social media platform. They'll become member, then they'll take forward the discussion. Sometimes that leads to the offline protest of mobilizing resources. Basically, what they want to change the policy, they want to change the attitude, they want to change the behavior towards the topic. This is one of the beautiful development is happening in the social media platform, irrespective of this fake news, misinformation, gatekeeping, and everything. Okay. How the news is being presented, that's being repeated again. And okay, the second point I'll cover a little more in the coming slide. I have two more topics about algorithm and filter bubble effect. So the second part is about the bubble effect only. And this is the algorithm part. Algorithm, in the media literacy, we are taking this topic very seriously. It's artificial intelligence, algorithm, or mathematical formulas, coding, whatever thing, but basically it's being used to filter, position the information, open, whatever we want to do it, they can do that. But algorithm used to determine which story appear on your homepage, your Twitter handle or Facebook or Instagram, whatever thing, based on your interaction. Continuously, your engagement with the platform is monitored. Not human beings are not monitoring. Algorithm, artificial intelligence, the programming, they are monitoring continuously. Over the period of time, your profile is being created about you, your profile. And that profile is being staged with that organization. Many times they're sharing the information with the many third party for sake of money. Okay. So without our knowledge, without our permission, a third party creating a profile. But I can't say without our knowledge, without our concurrence, because when we open the account in the social media platform, many of us, without reading top to bottom terms and conditions, will tend to agree that. Of course, it's a very lengthy document. We rarely spend time reading on that. Definitely, you will find the clause there saying that we are agreeing that the company collects the data of your user behavior, browsing behavior. We tend to give a concurrence. That's why they're creating problem. This is not illegal because they are taking a permission before joining the platform. We are joining without knowing the intricacy of the part. But it's not about profile. They're creating profile, but based on the profile, the news, whatever stories appearing in our account, right? It changes as per our interest. Right. This is a little more changing because whatever we have said, that diversity, multiplicity, everything, yes, your interest, okay, we are interested. But if you go to the library and the newspaper, if it comes in newspaper, front page story or editorial based on the editorial newsroom's choice. And newsroom choice is basically there because basically it's a unwritten rule saying that whatever the dominant news is being discussed. And that stories which never appears as per our interest. Okay, there are a variety of stories you get, the business or sports, everything you'll get that. Here, due to algorithm, continuously you'll get the similar story based on your history, search history, your activity. Definitely, you might have noticed that. Otherwise, just see your account. Okay, based on you might have clicked some advertisements for wrongly, or you might have clicked some video for interest sake, or you might have went through the particular profile continuously. So you get a lot of information related to the profile, related to that picture, related to that advertisement, because the company thinks that you are interested in that product, you're interested in that kind of stories, you're interested in that kind of person. So you're kind of streamlining the information as per your interest. So that is little damaging part. Okay, and many times algorithms are being designed to maximize engagement, to keep the users on the platform. Again, what the traditional news media is doing, that's what the online media also doing. They want to keep the audience engaged, and more engagement means more money, more participation, more money, more contribution, more money, more engagement, everything, whatever we are advocating, right? Civic participation, political, whatever your engagement, every data is money for. At least newspaper, they're creating content. They have resources. They have newsroom. They have a news operation, whatever. They are creating something, they're making a profit out of that. But an online platform, they created a platform only. So we are here, you and me, we are participating, we are creating content, and somebody else is consuming the content. The two third parties, they are transacting information, but the platform is getting more money out there. So this is the business model of social media platform. The company doesn't create any content. Users creates content. They're creating a platform like a Ola and transport aggregators. They never own any transport vehicles, but the user and the vehicle provider, they'll engage the platform to get the services. Similarly, that's what's happening. Here, they're tweaking the algorithm for sake of their profit. It's a huge, every information is money for them. Okay. And then there is one issue about the filter bubbles. I have a separate slide about that, where the users are exposed only to the news content that reinforces their existing beliefs and opinions. It's kind of reinforcing stereotypes, reinforcing the beliefs. We tend to strengthen our beliefs, tend to strengthen opinion, whatever the beliefs. So social media, the filter bubble effect, it aggravates the traditional social cultural based beliefs and opinion. If it's a good, if it's bad, it means bad. Majority of the case, the beliefs and opinions are based on the information coming from outside. So it's a problematic area where the media literacy is supposed to play a major role here. Right. And visibility of news content, that's one, and leads to concern about potential bias, lack of transparency in the news content, because it's being selected based on your interest. And the news, 1 minute, another 2 minutes, I'll finish it. And search engine optimization, social media optimization. This is the one technique is being used by many social influencers to put their information in a higher order. So this is another technique is being used by individuals, news organizations, companies, along with algorithm. That's being done that. Okay, algorithm part. Okay, the last slide, I'll do that. Misinformation. I think I'll skip this one. Yeah, this is the one I want to spend some time. So the filter bubble effect is refers to the phenomena where the users are exposed only to information that reinforces their existing beliefs and opinions. There is a concept theoretical model is being worked out in filter bubble effect. So no author attached with that, but this is a phenomenon. Okay, and it can be mainly influenced by algorithms due to the social media platform and search engines, and to personalize a user's feeds and results based on their history. Because cookies, they plant the cookie in your system or mobile and stays forever until you clear the history. Okay, and they'll stays in your system, our system. They tracks not necessarily one particular website. They tracks all your browsing behavior. That's why they create a profile. Profile is being integrated with the algorithm, and based on the profile and algorithm, and all our interaction with the online platform, right, goes in one direction. Okay, knowingly or unknowingly, if you are knowingly, you're doing fine, perfectly fine. Many of us, many of the internet users, 90% of us, we are unknowingly migrating or traveling towards an unknown destination that is being designed by algorithms, and that is based on our behavior pattern. Okay, so this is the very damaging effect on individuals that leads to social problematic area because of a lack of exposure to the diverse perspectives and opinions, right? And it's being used, unfortunately, this kind of filter bubble effect is being used by corporates, political lobbyists, and ideological groups for in favor of that, they are in favor of their opinion. So this is the algorithms one, algorithm being fine-tuned based on interest, based on their inputs to streamline the stories in your page as per your interest or as per desired interest. So this is a problematic one. And here the knowledge about the system required, That knowledge about the system is called how media operates. That's what media literacy is talking about. Social media, algorithm, filter effect. Fake news, okay, that's different matter. But here, the understanding the media operations is very crucial. Then only you can equip yourself. You can avoid. There are a lot of ways in which we can restrict the companies to confining ourselves into a particular stream of stories. Okay, so this is one area, and I'm finishing this work. The filter bubble effect highlights the importance of media literacy, the need for users to seek out diverse sources of information. Okay, so that's the end of this. Thank you, and 2 more minutes you have to finish. Like this, you can open the session. A couple of questions, observations. You can.
Yeah. So thank you, sir, for elaborating each and everything in a well-mannered way, and from the theoretical aspect to the practical examples, and the relation of the role of algorithm or the filter bubble effect, or how we can manage the challenges of fake news, or how we can how we can tackle the issue of uh, uh, consumption and the production of news in the digital era, and the role of data visualization, multimedia, and the especially the role of cookies, and the different technical aspect, especially in the era of digital, and how we can manage each and everything to ensure the proper flow of information, or the flow of information in a suitable direction for the benefit and the betterment of the society. So each and everything is elaborated, and each and everything presented by you in a highly informative way. So really, I'm very thankful to you, sir. So now I'm requesting all of you, I'm in the all the participants, if you wanted to ask any question, all of you can ask. And sir, is sir, do you have to around 5 minutes so that the participant can ask the variety of questions from you? So please, it's my humble request to all the participants, please ask the question. Okay, so sir, on behalf of all the participants, I wanted to ask a question from you. Basically, in the digital era, it's very easy to publish, but how we can ensure the authenticity of any particular news content, because now we have the technology, we have the a lot of tools and technique, and we can publish anything from any part of the world, and we can say anything as per our own convenience, as per opinion, and each and everything. But it's not so. Suppose if I'm publishing, it doesn't mean that it's suitable for all the country or the society, or the the different section of the different section and the sector. So in that scenario, how we can ensure the process of filtration, or how we can ensure the authenticity, as a as you mentioned that now we are able to manage the challenge of the mainstream media, because now we can easily break the monopoly. So in that scenario, how we can manage each and everything for the betterment of the society, or to ensure the authenticity?
See, Rakesh, there are very basic principles into applying or understanding the authenticity of any content, not necessarily the social media content. Primarily, we need to understand who is the person behind the story or information or document, and why this story is being written, and what timing is being written, what is the context in which written. If we ask this question to editorial, primetime story, or Facebook post, any viral story, easily we can understand the motive behind the story. Easily can understand. It might take very complicated process, but over a period of time, once you're conscious about the person who wrote, the what time is being written, what context is being written, and why is being written like this, right? If you are, because might be takes time in the initial period, but then it's being a routine. For example, when we starting the car driving, we are very conscious about changing gear, but now it's being automatic and all. And once you become very familiar with the car, gear changes. It may not take much time. Routine the car driving in Delhi, it's being a routine matter. The similar manner, if you start accepting any stories in this manner, you can become your behavioral pattern. Whenever a story comes, then automatically your mind will filter the story automatically. If an unknown person, the story written by somebody else, information written by unknown person, anonymous person, of course, immediately we can reject. There is no point in accepting that information because the person is unable, not willing to reveal the information. So what do we need to accept that information? Like that. So if we ask very basic questions, any context, this is what the media literacy is advocating for. Okay, I approach the right information and understand the information in a critical manner. Right. Then the last is participation.
Okay, sir. So once again, I'm going to request all the participants. If this is the last chance, if you wanted to ask any question from sir, all of you can ask.
No, it's okay if they're not asking now. Also, it's okay. No problem. They're continuously 1.5 hours. They listen to me, and many of us, many of them, they might be knowing to me, and they can keep in touch with us, or they can share the information in the subsequent sessions. And so the purpose of our presentation is just to put the point in your mindset. So
No, sir. No, the entire presentation was well designed, from digital to rural to algorithm, and the community radio. So each and everything, all the areas are well covered by you. So now, sir, we are with your permission, we are going to close the session. So thank you, sir, and. And once again, we will meet after 45 minutes. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your presentation. And very soon we will keep in touch with you for the another session.
okay, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Professor Adol Selvin, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for accepting to be part of this training session. And it was indeed listening, enriching experience, like it's a well-balanced aspect you have given. We had been yesterday sitting through the Mojo, the complete industry focused, and from there bringing down to the how to make it more grounded in our realities as educational system. So thank you for this attempt. We are expecting a little more theoretical part from you, but I think as a trainers of this aspect has added a lot of value to this session. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good to see you and be here.
Okay, thank you.
Once again, welcome back to the second session of the third day of this FDP. This session is mainly based upon the current and the emerging aspect of fact-checking tools and software practices. And for this session, our resource person is Mr. Varadarajan Anant Krishna. Sir is the Director, Training and Research with the Data Leads, an award-winning digital media and information initiative. Sir is a trainer with the Google News Initiative, India Training Network, and has conducted training in India and the neighboring countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Thailand, and he is also a television media professional with more than 3 decades of experience in broadcast journalism and documentaries. So now over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Akish Prakash. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, all of you. We are a few minutes away from a good afternoon. Welcome to this session. Let me just share my screen first. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So welcome. This is a session on digital verification. As you all know, that we live in a digital era with social media being all around us. And unfortunately, the social media, which is a common ground for meeting friends, making more new friends and all of that, is also a breeding ground for misinformation and malinformation, which is the biggest challenge we have in the modern era. So let us see how So my name, as Dr. Rakesh Prakash already said, my name is Varadharan Nandakrishnan. I'm the Director Training Research and Research for Data Leads. This training module is developed by Data Lead as part of the media training and fact-checking curriculum for the Google News Initiative India Training Network. A bit about the GNI training network. The network aims to empower journalists and newsrooms across India with skills and digital tools. They need to tell more informed stories. It's led by Data Leads, and the network has so far trained thousands of journalists, media educators, fact checkers, and journalism students in more than 15 languages across India, benefiting thousands of newsrooms and universities. A few pictures from our various trainings. So what we will look at today, what we'll learn today, techniques to verify visual content, tools that help in verification, which includes text search, reverse image search, embed, Google Lens, and one more which we just found, YouTube Booster. I want this session to be an interactive one. I would request all participants to use the chat box for the responses. Whatever question I'm asking, kindly enter your responses in the chat box so that I know that you're responding, that you're understanding. And if there's a question specifically pointed to you, you can answer that question as well. So here we go, we start. So look at basics of fact-checking techniques. As you all know, visuals, more than audio or anything else, whatever you saw, visuals leave a very lasting impression on you, which means they also impact your choices and ultimately your behavior towards an incident. I'm sure many of you have seen this before. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph by Nick Hood in 1973. This girl in the picture is called the Napalm Girl. So this was done during the Vietnam War when this happened. So this is an award-winning picture, and this has stayed through all our memories. It's such an impactful visual. This again from a country in Africa, Pulitzer Prize-winning photograph by Kevin Carter, 1994. This was about a girl who was crawling her way to a child who was crawling her way to a place where food was being distributed, and the vulture behind her gives a very poignant scene. During the lockdown in 2020, this was an award-winning photograph by Danish Siddiqui. This is a very telling picture when Indira Gandhi, the former prime minister, was so powerful in her party that while she was sitting, all the other men in the party, all the other leaders were standing around her as a mark of respect. Visuals, as you would agree, have the power to trigger change. So let's see. Let me ask you a question. You have to answer in the chat box for this. What do you think of these images? A photo of B.R. Ambedkar displayed on the wall of Russian President Vladimir Putin's meeting room. Is this true? It said, so you can answer if it's true or not true in the chat box. I want to see answers on the chat box. What do you think of this photograph? Do you think the photograph of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is displayed on the wall of the meeting room of the Russian President Putin? Please put your thoughts on the chat box. Please reply whether it is true or not true. I'm waiting for answers. What do you think? Okay, not easy to digest is not an answer. So you have to tell me whether it is true or not. Okay. Anybody thinks it's true? Okay, so clearly it's not true. We'll see that later. Albert Einstein cycled away even as the atom bomb exploded in the background. Is this true? Look at the picture. It's perfect. It's perfectly done. It has to be true. What do you think? I would love some more replies, please, that make sure that you're understanding it and you're with me on this in the session. It would be nice to have more responses on the chat. Okay. This is a very strong image of a Syrian boy who was sleeping between the graves of his parents. A young boy sleeping with his parents' grave in Syria. True or not true? True. Very good. Dr. Archana said true. Amayapal said true. Anybody else? Guys, please interact. This is the only way we can do a good session. I would request all of you to, okay. Okay. Here's one more. The Indian Air Force airlifted nearly 800 Afghans in the aftermath of the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan in 2021. Is this true?
True, I think. True.
Please put your answers on the chat. Okay, I want now one of you can probably unmute yourself and talk about it. This picture, the one before this. Why do you think this is true? What makes you think this is true? Dr. Archana, maybe you want to unmute and talk about it.
Sir, I think during that time, a lot of coverage has been done based on these photographs, actually. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Yeah. So a series of photographs based on Syrian stories have come, so which was very much impactful. In fact, these photographs had an impact on the border diplomacies also, political diplomacies, which has actually opened gates for these Syrian refugees across many countries.
No, Dr. Archana, I want you to look at the picture only, not look at the context around it. That is the
reason I feel it is true, sir. Actually, I felt like I've seen this photograph.
Let me complete. What in this picture is makes you feel that it's true? Forget the diplomacy and all of that. That's the context. No. If you see the picture, you immediately want to believe it's true. What in the picture makes you feel it's true? What do you think? What do you like about this picture which makes you think it's true?
It has an emotional thing, a connect. It has that strong emotional connect. Yeah.
Very good. That's the answer I wanted. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And anybody else who thinks this is true and why? Anybody else who wants to unmute and talk? Anybody else? Dr. Sujala Naik, do you want to talk on why this is true? I can't hear you. Anybody?
Hello, sir. Vinu this side. I'm a research scholar. I think this image is giving the impression of the aircraft.
It is. You think it's true or false?
Yeah.
Vinu, you think it's true or you think it's false?
It is true. It is true.
What makes you think it's true?
As per the first impression of the image that it is resembling with the aircraft, it is true.
Okay. Wonderful. So now let me take you through the truth of all these images. This was fake, clearly. We'll come to the B.R. Ambedkar photo in a bit, but this was fake, clearly. This photo of Albert Einstein cycling was taken from somewhere else and pasted on this so that it looked like he was cycling away when the bomb exploded. Fake. It was manipulated. So this is a photo shoot in Saudi Arabia And the photographer was the uncle of this boy, and he was doing a photo shoot of children. This is not from Syria. This is not the grave of his parent. It is an advertise. It's a photo shoot of this child, and had nothing to do with it. The point I'm trying to make, Dr. Archana, specifically because you spoke about this, is when we look at the picture, the immediate messaging, the emotional messaging of the picture makes us believe it's true. That is when I would request you to stop and think. Many times it could be communal clash when one community being attacked by the other, and you might believe it's true. Maybe it's not even from India; it's taken from somewhere else. Maybe it's not, the same context as it's being presented to you. So the big takeaway for all of you in this session today: any picture with a strong emotional message, stop and think. Stop and verify. Stop and think whether it's true or not. Verifying is very simple. The first thing you need to do is stop and think about it. That's the important thing. So while the picture was very emotional, boy sleeping, the messaging was boy sleeping between the graves of his parents in Syria. Whereas this boy is from Saudi Arabia and this was a photo shoot. Now you see how the messaging has got to you, which is false messaging. We know this is for you. Although this is an aircraft, although these are real people, this was done. This was a Philippine relief effort when a typhoon struck the country. This was an evacuation effort in Philippines, and this was shared as that didn't happen in India. And look at the messaging: "Long live India" and all of that. It invokes the patriotism in you. You immediately think that this is right because my country would have done this. That any true Indian would do that. It's not wrong to think like that, but you have to understand whether this happened or not. So this is how we get taken in by messaging, immediate messaging, thinking this is, you immediately bought what is written on the text. You did not stop to think, maybe, nobody even said maybe it's not true, maybe it's true. Nobody said that, nobody's in doubt. People are convinced that it is true. That's what happened when you see a post with a messaging like this, you get taken in by the immediate messaging. And that's not a good thing to do. Always, as media students or media educators, we need to stop and think, however powerful the messaging is. It takes 10 minutes to verify a post and the image, just 10 minutes, and you'll get to the truth. So let's, from now on, let's do that. Any messaging, any strong messaging, stop and think. It could be a video, it could be image, it could be just text. You can also verify text. So make sure you're doing that. Because visuals are easy vehicles of mis and disinformation. Why? Because technology has made it easier to create compelling, believable fake images. The one you saw Einstein cycling away, it made you, people were less informed of the atom bomb and Einstein, which period that were both, they were generations apart, those years apart, those both incidents. But people put 1, 2, and 2 together. People are uninformed, can immediately buy into that visual and say this was probably true. Posts that use text and visuals are more believable than textual disinformation. Like you saw in the aircraft thing, the messaging along with it made you believe that this is true. And for the uninitiated, distinguishing between original and manipulated images is difficult. People who do not know what is happening, that is difficult. Let's look at a few definitions. Misinformation. It's information that is false, but the person disseminating it believes that it's true. I'm doing it because I'm innocently forwarding a message. I'm unaware that the message is false, but I'm still forwarding it because I subscribe to it. I believe in it. Disinformation is information that it's false, but the person who's sharing it knows it's false. It is a deliberate, intentional lie intended to deceive others. I know that this information is false, but I share it with the group, assuming that they will buy into it, and my intention is to create harm. Now I want to all of you to take out your mobile phones because we'll play a small game called Kahoot. I want you to go to, I'll put it in the chat box. I want you to go to on your mobile phone, not on your laptop. On your mobile phone, go to this site called kahoot.it. Once you're done, ping me on the chat. I will start the game. It's important for me to understand how many of you can differentiate between fact and fake. That is the thing. So we'll play a small game. And once you're done, it'll ask for a pin. I'll provide a game pin in a bit, but go to kahoot.it and log in. And when you're done, please put a done remark. Okay. I'll be back in a minute. Give me a minute. So are you done? I'll stop sharing the screen and I'll go back.
Dear participants, please respond quickly.
It's asking for a pin, I think so.
Yeah, the game pin is on your screen. Can you see the game pin? Now, if you have to you have to add your nickname, your whatever name you want to be known by. You add your name and you're in the game. Okay. There are 37 people, only 10 have joined. I'm giving a minute before I start the game because we are not we are short on time. Are more people joining? This is kind of a test for you to understand how this is, so that you can test yourself as to how good you are at pointing out fake. Okay, last 20 seconds. If you want to join, so we're starting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm starting. Okay, before I start, the questions will be on your screen. The answers will be on your mobile phone. So questions on the screen, answers on your mobile phone, you have to click the right one. I'm starting the game. Select the answers from your phone. Okay, there are people who thought it is right. So let's see who's on top. Anjali's on top. Okay, good. Anjali is still on top. Very good. You all are getting, most of you are getting it right. Okay, this kind of confused you. Okay, Clifford is on top. Anjali is gone down one bit. Good. Anjali is back on top. Three of you thought it is true. That's interesting. Some of you thought it's true. How can a person take selfie mid-air? Okay, somebody called SG is on top. Okay. Last question. Thank God none of you thought it is right. So who's on top? Let's look at the podium. Anjali is the third place. So that was it. Thank you for playing the game. Only 7 of you played, but I hope you understand how images can be manipulated to make you think it's true. And this was a small game to understand what works and what doesn't, and what is true and what is not. Some of which might look like fake are actually true. Some of them look like true, in actually they are not true. So let's get back to the session quick. We are done with this. So tools and tips for investigating visual content. Before we start, you should have all these browser extensions either on your computer or in your phone. Google Lens is a powerful tool on your phone. Please download it. Five shot is a good option to take screenshots. One tab is when you're working on multiple tabs. You never lose the tab you're working on, so it keeps a track of it. Google Translate, no language barrier in verification. InVid is a useful tool for image and video verification and much more. But here's a bit of a downer. InVid is unpredictable. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't work. Although it's a very, very versatile tool. But at the moment today, it's down, for example. So that is the problem with InVid. But I'll still take you through how it works so that you understand if you want to use it later. Does every image convey the real picture? So this was tweeted as an image when Friday prayers were being offered on Indian Road, blocking the traffic. On the chat box, I want to know how many of you think it's true. How many of you think it's true? True or false? Not true, false, false. Okay, the way we can debunk this is very simple. First, look at closely at all to extract all the information you have in the image. You can use InVid when you download it. You can zoom into every part of the image to see what it is. Can you pick up some geography, something which you can make you understand better, and make a list of probable things you can find out. Use all the possible clues that you collect to find out about the image or video. You might get context and use proper keywords. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to use simple Google text search, not Google text search, a text search to see where it is. So on Google, I just say Friday namaz holding up traffic in India, not in India. So I go to text search, I describe what I see on the image on the post, and I use that to search for the image. You're not doing any tools and techniques. There's nothing, the simple basic text search. Once you do that, you get to this. I get to fact check articles which says photo claiming Muslim blocked an Indian highway, whatever. The print Indian Muslims did not block roads for namaz. Muslims avoid namaz on Indian highway. No photo is from. So when we click on these links, we find that this image is from Bangladesh and not India. So as you see, a simple text search is enough for you to get to the truth of the story. So
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, in between, but I've used the Google Lens also, and it provided the same result, that it's a false image. And here's the
wonderful,
image.
wonderful, wonderful. You're a couple of steps ahead of the session. Good for you. Nice. So see, the easier way to do is text if you don't have a phone with you, and people are well informed and can use Google Lens to the best effect. You can, like Vinu did, we could point your picture at point your phone to the image and see where it is from. You'll immediately get the answer. That's how simple it is to debunk a fake image if it's misinformation. Or not all must be misinformation, some might be true as well. But you need to just use your common sense and the tools you have in your hand to debunk this kind of post. Okay, the small exercise. There are a couple of them, but I'm going to do only one with you. You can do that. You can do a text search. Do not do a Google Lens search, Vinu. I want you to do a text search and find out, because that's what I want to use for this session. So I'm going to show you a couple of images. One image I'll give you as an exercise at the end of it, and one I'll show it to you now. You can do it online right now. So is this a rare pink elephant found in some regions of India? Use text search to tell me the truth. Is this a rare pink elephant found in some regions of India? I would request you to use Google or just a text search, simple text search, to tell me what the real story is.
Sir, can I say, or shall I type in chat box?
Yeah, you can talk.
Sir, it's in Kenya, April 2019.
Okay.
That is what the first result that I got on text.
So you're saying it's true?
Yeah, it's not in India, definitely.
Okay.
But the first.
Okay, here's my thought. What is the text search you use, Amir? What text string you use to search for this?
A rare pink elephant in India.
Okay.
So.
And you please go through the articles.
Yeah.
Okay. Please go to articles. The first article you might find is not probably the best result for you. You need to use your due diligence, your understanding, and your sense to find out whether it is true or not. I could have picked this up from the internet and pasted it on an African article. I could be an African who picked it up on the net. So the truth is not true.
Yeah, this is not true because in the third article, they are showing the different image and it's a baby elephant. So in picture, we are clearly seeing that this is not a baby elephant. So based on that, we can say that this is not true.
So Amir, what you did, the first is you picked up the first result and said, this is not from India, but from Kenya.
Maybe from Kenya, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not true, right? So this is a non-existent elephant. It's been colored.
Yeah.
So that is the answer I wanted. Thanks, thank you. So the next picture I'll give you as a exercise later in this thing. Okay, this was a truck in Moscow carrying the image of former Pakistan PM Imran Khan with Vladimir Putin. Okay, I'll share the image with you. You can debunk it with text search, and you can do this exercise. Okay, I would request all of you who are on laptop, and this works only on laptop, to go to Google Chrome. It works only on Google Chrome. Google Chrome, you can type Invid Chrome extension, and once you get that, go to the first result, which is fake news debunker by Invid and V-Verify. Click on that and add the extension to your Chrome browser. I would request all of you to take a couple of minutes and get to this extension and add it to your Chrome browser. It's a very, very versatile extension. So once you do that, InVid Chrome extension, if you download that, it's a very versatile. I'll tell you more about it. InVid helps you do a reverse image search much easier. We'll come to what reverse image search later. Through InVid, we can search with multiple search engines with a single click. Now, here it is. What is reverse image search? Unlike the usual text search, reverse image search helps you search with images. You can search with you can upload an image and ask your browser. It could be any search engine, image search engine. It tells you whether such an instance of it, the context of an image you're searching for that you're verifying. It gives you context. It will tell you whether a previous instance of that image was present on the web, so that you can know that this has probably been repurposed to suit a new narrative. So, or it's being used to use out of context. A same image can be used at different places, manipulated, not manipulated directly. So, image search, reverse image search will tell you what to do with those images and find out the truth about those images. InVid also helps in verifying videos. It lets you upload a video from a local system or a URL. This is the function which is not working right now in InVid. You're not able to upload videos from your local disk. It breaks down the video into still images. These images still can be used to do reverse images, search, and it provides thumbnails from the uploaded videos from YouTube as well. Anybody, any problem, please stop me because I'm kind of rushing because we are short on time. InVid also helps you in video analysis from Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. It gives you metadata about the video rights and about the videos. It has a magnified function which helps you zoom into different parts of the images. It gives you optical character recognition tool for text and images. It also has a forensic tool which will help you detect alterations with heat maps in manipulated images, but that's slightly advanced. We'll not get into that now. The first is Google reverse image search. One of the many image search engines on the net. Google will start with Google. So at the peak of pandemic in 2021, this picture was shared as that of a biker carrying his mother with an oxygen cylinder on a bike. Is it true? So let's do reverse image search here. I'll just stop screen share and we'll go to the browser. So here's the Google Chrome browser. I go to images.google.com. That is a reverse image search engine. Here at the end of the address search bar, there is this image which says search by image. This is actually user integrated Google Lens on the desktop as well. So this will use Google Lens. I upload a file. You have to select the entire picture. So you can already see fact check images, fact check articles saying this is image of Boom Live is a fact check organization. So they've done that. So you're seeing all this. Okay. So you can see that it is not true. It's already called out. So you can go to the article and read about it. You can see where all these images appeared before. You can go about it. Okay, you can check these articles and see what is. If you want to find an image, so when you click on this one on top of the photograph, find image source, it will go to the web search and not the Google Lens. It already says viral image of woman riding pillion on bike. It's not from India. News 18, Boom Live, all of them have debunked it. And here we get a post called these are the images we're getting. Here we get a post in Bangla. Okay. And when we see this, let's check this out. Because this picture, if you read the information art, if the article, now this is in Bangla, so we translate it to English. Son in the hospital with mother. Look at this. This is in Barishal. Where is Barishal? Barishal is in Bangladesh. So we saw that this picture, which was used as from India, is not from India actually, but from Bangladesh. So this is the picture which was used. In fact, if the proper picture, if you zoom in, you can see Barishal written at a couple of places. So this is how you debunk through reverse image search. Any questions on this? All good? Any questions? Anyone? Do you get it?
Participants, please ask the question.
If you have any questions, ask, or we go ahead from this.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So this is what it is. We saw this. Yandex, another search engine, is a Russia-based search engine that is very effective for verifying content from Russia and nearby countries like Belarus. Okay, so when you have a kind of content which is from Russia, you should use Yandex. It's great in identifying various elements. It is capable of recognizing faces, structures, and places. It is good at identifying digital assets like logos. It can tell you which logo is of what company. Also capable of recognizing flipped or altered images. Now look at this post. This is a Ukrainian girl confronting a Russian soldier. Is this true? The post says, what a brave little woman. An 8-year-old Ukrainian girl confronts a Russian soldier, telling him to go back to his country. This is courageous, brave girl. Hashtag Ukraine. Okay. Now let us investigate it. Let us use Yandex again to do this. I'll stop share here. So yandex.com/images is the website. This is the website. So like Google reverse image search, you upload this photograph. I'm going to select a file. I have this file. Of the 3 images, I cropped it down to 1 image to see where it is. So I can, here are the images I can see. There are the results I can see. So I'm seeing this. Okay. One flag you should see is that the post is in Arabic. Okay. It's not Ukraine or not Russian. Okay. So we see all the, and here it is. It says behind Palestine Arab demonstration. And the context you see is of Arab and Palestine and not Ukraine and Russia. Okay, these are your flags. Again, Arabic. Okay, free Palestine, end apartheid, Israel. So you see, this is probably not from Ukraine. So we'll have to go to the actual post to see exactly what it is. NDTV India actually shared this as a post. They believe that the post is from Ukraine and shared it. So these are the images. Now, on this picture, I see the logo of Al Jazeera. Now, Al Jazeera is something we all trust as a global brand. It's a news site. So I go to this post to check out what it is. When I translate this tweet, it says children different as as they can and all that. So this is the tweet, and I go to this tweet. I translate this tweet, and I can see that Ahmed Tamimi, the history of struggle since childhood, made the icon of Palestinian popular resistance. So she can on this video you can see that this is on this video I can see that this is about Palestine and Israel, and this is the video we're talking about. This is the image we're talking about. It has been plucked from this image has been plucked from the video of an Israel-Palestine standoff, a little girl talking to Israeli soldiers who's obviously Palestine. And this will be picked and shown as Ukraine-Russia war, which is complete misattribution. Any questions on how we debunk this, or is it clear?
Participants, do you have any question? Please ask.
Hello, sir. Hello. Sir, if we found some image which is a fake image or which is not true, then is there any system available which we can tag that image as this is a fake image, or how we can do that?
Yeah, wherever you're spotting the image on social media, like say Twitter, you can reply on the thread and say, call out that said that this is untrue, this is fake, and why? Because provide a link, a reading link, saying it is untrue because this is the reality. So you will end up debunking that for many others who will probably believe this post. For example, this was the post on your Twitter feed, and you have found out that this is from Israel Palestine. You can put a comment saying this is from Israel Palestine, and this is because this is the actual tweet. This is the reality. So people will not believe this post. People will start questioning this post, and you will be the first one to debunk this. So the way to debunk it, once you verified it, debunked it, put a post on the same thread that this is false, and hence you would help stop misinformation in its tracks.
Right. Thank you, sir.
So we did this, we got to this. It's from 2017. Now we saw this Ambedkar photographs from the beginning. Ambedkar photo in the beginning. Can you all mute yourself? Somebody is disturbing. Yeah, so this was on Vladimir Putin's meeting room. It wasn't, because I'll give you this as an exercise. I'll share this picture with you. You can do your own reverse image search and figure out. I'll tell you, when we did do a reverse image search in Yandex and found out this is the actual truth. There's the Russian emblem in the background and not anybody's picture. Okay, this is the actual image. It's a Russian national emblem in the background. But look, can somebody mute yourself because your audio is coming through and it's disturbing. So look at, depending on which part of the world they belong to, they have put the different pictures on the wall of Vladimir Putin and said that this adorns the wall of the Russian president. I'm going to give this also as a exercise to you. I'll share the slide with the exercise with your coordinator after the session. You can do an exercise on that. Okay, I'll not take you through this. There are more exercises I'll give. I'll not go through them right now because let's come to social verification. Okay, I need people to mute yourself because it's disturbing me. So Google Lens is when what you download from a Play Store. It's an app which can give you, you have to open the app this way, okay? And you point your camera lens and shoot. So immediately you'll get the kind of patterns it matches. Sir, can we mute all because the audio is disturbing me? Naziram, Lilina, I need to, you need to mute your audio. Sir, can you ask Naziram to mute the audio, please?
I'm requesting everyone, please unmute your audio. And if you have any question, please unmute your audio and ask to sir. Or if you are facing any trouble, then you can write in the chat box. You can ask any question in the chat box also.
Muted.
I hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes,
you are, ma'am.
audible.
This person called Naziram Lilina is the audio of this person is not muted and it's constantly creating disturbance. I guess you can mute as the administrator.
Yes, sir. I'm going to mute.
So Google Lens is this flash for taking pictures, and also you can import an image from your phone. These are the various user interface. It helps you translate, helps you copy the pointed. You can point to a text and copy it, and then translate it as well. Okay, so these are the ways. It's a very versatile tool. For example, if you're pointing to this biscuit packet and searching with it, it will give you everything about this brand of biscuit, so you can understand more about it. If it's a topography, it's an architecture, you can use Google Lens and it'll tell you exactly where it is from. That's how simple and that's how versatile it is. Video moving images, you will have to pardon me because InVid is not working, but I'll tell you how it works. There's no method to reverse search an entire video. There's nothing called reverse video search. Videos is just many still frames played together quickly, right? There are many images. So do a reverse image reverse search is just looking for different frames out of the video. So what do? You break down the video. InVid helps you. You upload a file. The video, the InVid will break it down into images, and it will give you a still frame, which you can use it as a reverse image search later. This is how it looks. The InVid, when you upload a thing and it gives you a complete breakdown of videos. Now on these this interface, you can do a right click and you can select which
question.
Yeah.
Does InVid tool will help in identifying the that you mentioned that taking a snapshot of a video and we can do the reverse image and find out whether the image is.
You can do a simple screenshot from your not use InVid at all.
Whether it will be able to understand or provide the input on the deepfake videos?
No.
Cannot.
Deepfake is really, the world is struggling with it yet. And so we don't have an answer for deepfakes yet. Deepfakes is still in the realms of common sense, your critical thinking and your understanding. You will have to use your critical thinking skills to understand whether you deepfake or AI generated video or even an audio. So that is still work in progress. So maybe we'll have an answer soon. This is how the interface looks. So you can take screenshot. Okay, now this is an interesting thing. This is one video I'm playing, and look at it carefully. I want your answers on what you think the video is about. If some of you have seen it before, kindly keep quiet because I want people who do not have seen the video before to answer this. Please share this video. Children are playing. A biker came there and went past them. The bikers come again, picked up the child, left. And the children came back. Now, one of you have to tell me what is this video about. Somebody who's never seen the video before have to tell me what is this video about. Can somebody tell me? Okay, I'm going to call out names which I know. Binu, can you tell me what is the video about?
It is about kidnapping.
Okay. Videos about kidnapping. How many of us agree it's about kidnapping? How many of us say it's kidnapping? Okay. Now, let me show you another video. This is the full original video. Let me show it to you. What say? People who thought it was kidnapping video. It looks kidnapping, but if you carefully watch, when the child is being picked up, there is no struggle. The child doesn't struggle. When a random person picks up a child from a street, the child will struggle, wail, shout, and all that. And the children around the child who was kidnapped, apparently kidnapped, go after the bike and then come back to resume their normal life. What in reality, what will happen? They will go to the parents, they'll call the elders, they'll run helter-skelter. Was there panic in the video? There was no panic. It was all smooth. It was almost acted, and it was acted. Now, let me give you a sense of how problematic this video is. The first video you saw, which is a clipped version of the child kidnapping, went viral in India, Jharkhand. 30 people lost their lives in lynching, mob lynching of people who thought they were kidnappers and child lifters only basis this WhatsApp video. Looking at the WhatsApp video, they thought they are on alert, and when they saw strangers in their vicinity, they lynched them. It went viral in India, and in Jharkhand, people actually lost their life due to a WhatsApp forward, which looked like a kidnapping, which is actually an awareness video created in Karachi, Pakistan. Nothing to do in India. So the power of a video and how harmful it can be is coming from this. So in a video, don't just look, listen carefully. Identify the language, words, accent, and names and signs of editing. Is it jerky? Has frames been replaced? Abrupt jerks could be editing points. Please look for them. Look carefully into the comment section. Somebody might have put a vital flaw in your work. Somebody might have said this looks like fake. For example, he might be true, he might not be true, but it gives you an idea that's a red flag that this probably is fake. This I'm going to give you as exercise. Okay, for there's one more which is not a part of the deck. I just discovered it. There's something called YouTube Booster. Okay, I put it on the chat for you to understand. This is again in a Google Chrome extension. If you go to YouTube Booster and if you put it as a part of your add it to your Chrome browser as an extension, what it will do is give you a sense of, it will give you the video and it will give you screenshots of the video. What InVid does, but it works only on YouTube, this one. What InVid does, it gives you still images from the video. YouTube Booster exactly does that. I'll demo this to you a bit so you understand. Give me a minute, please. So when I have YouTube Booster installed, this is the YouTube video, which is what we're discussing. And when you go down, scroll down, it will give you options of searching for this is the still image we have paused on. So this is what it will take as the image. And you can use various search engines like TinEye. TinEye is a search engine, or Google. You can search that. If you want to use a different thing, you can say clip to, let's say, 1 minute. Let's go to another frame. Okay, let's play the video first. This video is about a nurse instilling vaccine in somebody, where she does not actually put in the vaccine. She withdraws it before injecting the medicine. And this was shared as a scam in India. Okay. So please watch closely. She didn't put in the medicine. So we pick up a frame. This is a good frame. So we pick this up and we click to capture frame. Once we capture the frame, we do a right click. And because I have InVid, I can go to, let's say, Google. Okay, here is a non-English, non-Indian language, which I see. So I go to this to check what it is. Now we have the video. Now let us see exactly what is the, this is the text. We go to translate.google.com. We don't know which language it is, so we detect language. This is Spanish. The truth of this is, you can verify it later. The truth of this is, this video is from Mexico. It was shared as a scam happening in India, of vaccine scam. So this is what it is. This is what the truth of the video is. So you can, while Invid is a great tool, if it's on YouTube, you can use a YouTube booster to get still frames, and then you can use that to do reverse image search to get to the truth of the video. Now, you might ask me, if I have a video which is not on YouTube, what do I do? Yes. So what you can do is, you must have a YouTube account, all of you. You can actually put that video, upload that video on YouTube, and then use that YouTube link to, and the YouTube booster, to get to the fact of the video, the truth of the video. So I'll share a few examples for exercise later with your faculty. That is pretty much it. So these are things I wanted to tell you. And any questions? We are out of time. So any questions you can tell me. I can take question and answers right now.
Dear participants, ask the question. Sir is ready to give the reply. So just give the quick response and ask the relevant question.
Also, my colleague has shared a link. This is about your feedback. Please fill in the feedback form. It's important for us to know your feedback as well. So I would request all of you to fill in the feedback form. So any questions you have?
Yeah, anybody wanted to ask the question? Please ask the question.
So no question, but it's a very wonderful and good insights to learn from you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you for the highly informative session, and you've already explained the different steps and the stage of how we can decode, how we can differentiate between the actual or between the fake, or how we can identify the actual image or the actual video footage or the actual information from the different with the help of different tools and technique. So all of us can use the techniques and the tools and the tips and steps explained by you for the purpose of detecting and for the purpose of identifying the actual or the real information, and for the purpose of avoiding the fake and the misleading information available on different platforms. So sir, we are really very thankful to you for
It's my pleasure.
coming
Thank you.
and enlightening us about the different aspect of the how we can ensure the use, or how we can select the suitable kind of information, the video or the still images or the so many other kinds on different platforms. So I'm really thankful to you, sir.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please fill in the form. Please fill in the form.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so
So
much.
it's my humble request to all the participants. Please fill the form. Form is already shared by our team on the WhatsApp group, and the form is also shared by the
There are two
Ms.
different forms. There are two different forms. One is the pre-assessment and one is the feedback. So fill in both the forms, please.
Yeah. So please fill both the form as early as possible.
Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you. I hope it was a good session. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Highly informative, sir.
Good boy. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Dear participants, we will once again, the next session will start at 2 o'clock. So now we are taking the lunch break, and after the lunch break, we will join the session once again at 2 p.m. So, am I audible to all of you? Professor,
Yes, sir.
ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, dear participants, once again, welcome back to the third session of the day. And this particular session is mainly based upon the different aspect of data journalism. For this session, our resource person is Dr. Rubaid Asfar. Sir is an associate professor of digital media at the Amity University with over a decade of experience teaching advertising, digital media, film studies, and journalism. His academic research centers around the analysis of trends in online news, commenting, exploring the subjects of free speech, anonymity, the online reputation. He possesses a specialty in interactive communication and digital journalism with a skill set encompassing data mining, AI, website content management, production, and usability. Additionally, he excels in social media, SEO, aggregation, web metrics, data visualization, and Sir is a certified fact checker and trainer by Google and Volunteer Institute. So now over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rakesh, sir. And thank you, Jolly ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to share my experience of data journalism with the participants. So data journalism, it is like nowadays we are saying that we are living in a 5G state. But if I say now we are living in a data state, it is not it is not appropriate the same. But throughout you can check, you can analyze that since the morning we are around with the data, and this data is like since the morning when we are like wearing our watches, when we are looking at the phones, when we are checking the mails, and the data is keep on adding. For example, you have heard of a new ornament, or you have heard a new cell phone which is there in the market, and you want to buy. Like before you are going to search on your cell phone, the ticker screen or the push notification, it is on your cell phone. Same as you are carving for the food, you are hungry, and it is at the lunchtime, and you got a notification from Zomato. You're going to get notification from Swiggy, like where they are actually getting the information, where they are actually getting that you are actually hungry, or you are needing a ride. Like they are actually keep and tracking all the traces of our digital footprints, which are there, which are easily available. So since the morning till the night or till the night, we are actually around with the data. And like when we are having so much of data around us, we need to analyze this data. And how we are going to analyze data, this is I'm going to share with you in this session. So first, I'll give you a brief about like what journalism. So data journalism, it is not a kind of a traditional journalism. In the traditional journalism, we used to rely on our resources. We need to rely on our informers, and we need to rely like the different resources. But here we are having the data, and on the fact-based data, because this is data journalism, it is fact-based journalism. If our rankings are low, then we are having some sort of researches, and on the basis of the researches, on the basis of the data, we can say that we are slipping in the press freedom index. So these all the data are being collected, and it is well researched one. And on the other hand, when we're talking about the traditional news gathering, in the traditional news gathering, we are relying on our resources, where they are mentioning that this is something which is new in the market, which is something which is not good in the market. Like this is something which is like the crimes rate are higher, like the crimes rate are low, like this particular government. All the informations we are getting here, we are getting on a fact-based, all the data-based stories. So here you can easily see, like when we are having so much of numbers, we are having so much of information, how we are going to analyze it, how we are going to present it. This is something which is very challenging. So here you can see, you can check, we are having territories and we are having preferences. So on the territory, on the preferences, we are having accidents. So in 2002, how many numbers of accidents? And in 2012, what is the number? Like, is there any change? So what is the change? It is mentioned. So we are having this much of data, but how you are going to present this data, how you are going to pick a particular kind of data. This is something which is I'm going to show you. The first, you can check, like, we are having so many stories, we are having so much of information around us, whether it is related to the crime, whether it could be related to the pollution. We are having weather forecasting systems, we are having some kind of accidents, we are having like elections around. So for each and every sphere of life, I can say that we are having data. And to choose a data, like to pick a story, it is very important, because nowadays we are having elections in the Karnataka. So when organization, when news body, when they are going to select some sort of data which is related with the elections, then it is most appropriate. But on the other hand, when we are having, like, nowadays in May, we are having rainy season. In May, we are having rainy season. So there is some sort of evidence base. Like, we cannot say this is the first time in the history. Like, if we are going to compare with the previous years, so around 52 years back, there was the same kind of weather was predicted, and the same weather was there in, like, we are going to back 52 years. So this is something which is we can share, we can narrate with the help of the data, because when we are documenting anything, when we are having the numericals, when we are having some sort of numbers, or on the basis of the numbers, on the basis of the data, we can form a story. So we are having, and nowadays, most of the news organizations, what they are actually having, they are having just separate, dedicated, data-driven, like they are having data-driven journalism. So where they are actually having the fact-based news. So they are not sharing their opinion, they are not sharing their own voices. What they are based news, they are sharing the fact-based information. And on the fact-based information, we are having, like, as a audience, what we like looking for, we want concrete, we want evidence-based news story. So nowadays, most of the news channels, they are following the same. In the previous sessions, I think you have learned about the AI, you have learned about the machine learning. It is not possible for the AI, it is not possible for the machine learning without the help of the data. Because what the AI is doing, the AI is processing the data. AI is analyzing the data. AI is giving input on the basis of the data. For example, what are your food liking? So it is the AI, they are like, we are having notifications, we are having a data on your food delivery partner, like we are having Zomato. In Zomato, what are the previous searches you have searched? What are the previous things you have ordered? So on the basis of your previous searches, what they are actually giving you, they are curating, they are suggesting same restaurant, they are suggesting the same kind of meal to you, because you are not like you are not focusing on other one. You, because your trend, your data suggests that you are focused and you want this. The same as recently Uber has also faced some charges uh, regarding that on particular time surcharges, or other cab, what they are actually doing, they are charging the surcharges. So how they are actually calculating? So they are calculating how many number of users they are started using more on a specific time. Like, what is the percentage of the users increase at a specific time? And what they are actually, slightly they increase the fares. And later on, Uber has shared a statement, and the statement they have shared that they are not charging money regarding the same, but it is like they are giving tip or something like that on the basis. But they are actually using, they are actually following the same on your mailbox. When you are getting notifications from different aggregators, when you are getting different uh, emails, all the emails are especially designed for you. It is curated for you. It is specialized to you. So this is a new in kind. So the and same as in the news feed also, if you are following more sports news than especially designed curated newsletter related to sports on your mailbox. Same as if you are having interest in crime, like Netflix, very good example. In Netflix, it is they are sharing, they are suggesting movies which are based on your own interest, your past experiences, and they are analyzing and they are showing you the recommended as like you are interested in crime, you are interested in thriller, you are interested in documentary. So they are showing you the same. So here we are having so many organizations which are doing the same. The Guardian, they are having their own, like the Guardian.com. They are also having their own data blog. And on the data blog, we are like when they are writing stories, when they are writing issues, when they are writing opinions, all the opinions are the fact based, all the opinions are the database. So here in the previous years, or like the traditional ways, we are having informers, we are having whistleblowers, but here the scenario has been changed. And like what is our new informers and what is our new whistleblowers? It is like the RTIs. With the help of the RTIs in India, we are getting information, and when we are getting information, we are analyzing, and then we are publicly sharing that information to the masses. So first is the first step is we need to read the documents, and while we are reading the documents, we need to read backwards. Again, I'm sharing when we are analyzing any factual document, we need to analyze backwards. Like what are the statements you want to make? The first one is what are the statements you want to make? The second one, what variables are need to make those statements? For example, you want to suggest that uh, you know in India we are having like we slipped in the World Press Freedom Index. What are the reasons? What is the reason? Like World Press Freedom Index, they are having their own parameters. So on the basis of the parameters, where we are lacking, on the parameters, we are actually doing very good if we are going to compare with the European countries. But on the other hand, we can also say that because these are the listings which are released by the European countries, so might be a kind of some sort of biasness towards the East Asian countries, because in the East Asian countries, we are getting very low ranking, and the European countries, they are getting the higher ranking. And on the basis of the different parameters, like we are having parameters related to journalist security, journalist safety. So on those parameters, like where like do we are actually doing well? Do we are actually doing good? So it suggests with the numbers. And we also need to check like how we are going to get the data and who all are actually collecting those data. You know? So when we are actually creating the statement, so we actually creating a statement with the lead and the hypothesis. So we are like we feel like there is something fishy in a particular deal, a trade deal between two nations. So this is something which actually lead to us that there is something fishy. So when we are going to collect the data, when we are checking the facts and figures, when we are actually analyzing those facts and figures, we feel like, oh, there is something not good. So when we feel like there is something not good, we are going to create a hypothesis. And on the basis of the hypothesis, we can write and we can suggest that this is something which is not actually going in a right direction or not. For example, we can say that there is a change in the robberies. So we are having two variables here, and just give me okay, yes, I think it's visible. So we are having two columns. we are having variables, we are having rows. So column is the variables, how much is it printed, and we are having rows which are actually having the records, number of records. So two main kind of variables are, we are having categorical and we are having numerical. In categorical, we are having gender, we are having city, we are having postal, we are having type of crime, and etc. On the other hand, we are having numeric. The age is the numeric one, the cause, the population, weight, arrest, accident, incident, and on the related variables which are related to the crime and the court stories, the type of crime, population, date, time, location, number of victims, arrests made, disposition, like how many judges are there, the sentences. So we are having these kind of data with us. Now, how we are going to analyze those data? So first, we can check a filter on the data. We are going to put a filter on the data. Like we are going to segmentize on the basis of ascending order or descending order. For example, you want to check like in which city we are having the highest crime rate. So we are going to put a filter on the city. Like for example, in Delhi, we feel like, highest crime rate. But on the other hand, we are having Goa, we are having Uttar Pradesh. In Uttar Pradesh, we are having highest crime rate. So when we are going to put a filter, we can check the sequence wise. So top 5 cities are, and we also can get information related to what are the least 5 cities which are having the less crime rate, and what are the, like, if for this collect, like this data, who all are actually collecting this data? Who are the people who are collecting the data? Anyone? Like we are having this data, we are having categorical, we are having numerical, but who all are people who are actually collecting this data? We are having public safety, we are having, like, government is doing census, we are having bureaus, we are having schools, we are having government. Sometimes we are having environmentalists, we are having police, we are having like safety experts, sometimes we are having food inspections, we are having independent organizations who are actually collecting this data. So when they are actually collecting the data, we need to, like, this is the way they are actually collecting the, these are the people who are collecting the data. And after collecting the data, they are uploading the data online. And if they are not uploading the data online, they are having data bank. Like in India, you can check the data which was released by the government on data.gov.in. So there's a website for the data sets. We are having thousands and thousands of data sets, and which are updating on regular basis. And if you want to check the federal government, like the states, if you want to compare, that is data.gov. So these are the two websites. One is for the federal, this is for America, and for India, we are having data.gov.in. And in data.gov.in, we are having different categories. We are having different tabs. Under different tabs, for example, you want to get to know, like, how many primary teachers are there in district. You can name any district. For example, you want to know how many primary teachers are there in Gurugram. So you need to just go to data.gov.in. You need to select, like, the education tab. In the education, you need to select, there are the thousands of data. You need to select primary education, and related to the primary education, then you again need to filter to the Gurugram, and then you are able to get to know, they are, like, the government is releasing data on very regular basis, because when government is planning, government is creating some kind of scheme, so they are actually collecting the data. So on the basis of those data which are collected by the government, you can keep check, and you can create a different kind of stories which are related to. For example, you want to check what is the media literacy. We know, like, Kerala is one of, like, is the leading one, but you want to know which particular district is having the highest literacy rate. You can check on the data.gov. You can also check what is the uh, GSP, like the GDP, yeah. No, and is there any change in the GDP? Like, what are the factors evolving? Like, if any uh, subsidiaries, or you can say that uh, some part which are not doing good, then what are the, you can also check, you can also compare the previous data itself. So government is also archiving the same. So they are releasing the data, they are releasing the data on public domain, and on the public domain you can, and one more website you can also check, it is Google data sets. So you need to just search on Google and Google data sets. So Google is also having a kind of a archive, and in the archive you can check the data sets which are released by the government organization sometimes, and you can also get data sets which are released by the private parties. For example, KPMG is like, if they have released any kind of data set related to education, related to any specific business, so they are suggesting, they are releasing. So you can also get, sometimes it is being free, like for the government, data.gov.in, it is free. But on the other hand, if you're going to use Google datasets, then you need to pay a certain amount of money if it is not free. But most of the time, the data, they are actually free. And how we can collect these data, so we can file an RTI. With the help of the RTI, you can get all the data. Now the next important issue, while we have the data with us, but the data, they are having very different format. In Excel we are having .csv file, we are having sorry, comma file, we are having JSON file in for the Excel only. So we are having different multiple formats. Like, which format we need to follow? Some data sets you can also get in the PDF. It's a portable document finder. It is very difficult to read. PDF is very difficult to read. The first, when you have the data with you, you need to arrange your data in a tabular form, and in the tabular form, save all the data into one common format. Like if you have data in .csv, or if you have data in .json, then try to save all the data sets into .csv. So what you need to do, your data sets you can easily save as, if it is if you are having access to Excel, then you can simply save and export the data into .csv or the JSON. And sometimes we are not being able to correlate. So because in Excel we are also having different formats. We are having 2003 formats, we are having 2010 formats, and now we have a recently updated 2016 format. So when you're going to save, some features like the macros are not being applicable. So what you can do, 2010, save all the files and formats in .csv in 2010 formats, and then you can save, because 2010 is universal format. So like any updation, or if there are any changes in 2016, it is also applicable in 2010. And if your data is old, then you can also save in 2010. It is also going to the same as macros, which are same as the .xls, and sometimes you can also save your file to xlsx. It is the extension file. So what you need to do, you need to avoid PDF, because when you are using the PDF is hard to read. Although it is, you can read it very hard, but hard to read for the computer, because it is having a kind of a picture file. It is a portable file which actually compresses the data. So what you can do, you can simply convert, like if you need to use the PDF file, then you can convert your PDF file to Excel file with the help of, we are having software like we are having Acrobat Pro, we are having Samza, we are having Comdocs. And you, if you are amateur, if you are a beginner, then what you can do, simply search on Google and you want to convert a PDF file to Excel file, and online it is converted. And although you can also change, like you just need to open your Excel. In Excel, you can import PDF. From import PDF, it's showing where you can import. So you just mention import PDF, and then it is going, you are actually going to get the data. Now you have all the data with you. So till now, this is the process. Any questions till now anybody has? So this is the process that now you have the data. Now, what you're going to do with this data? Now, what we need to do? We have so much of data, like we have 15 Excel files related to the primary school education system here in specific Noida district. You know? So we are having the data, but what is the use of data? How we are going to use particular data? The first step we are going to do it is we are going to clean the data, because all the data which is being received, it has not been cleaned. So we need to first clean the data. And how we are going to clean the data? Manually we can clean the data, or with the help of the software we can clean the data. So manually you just need to copy all the documents into one, then you are going to put filters, and then you need to just check the digits, you need to check the numericals, and on the numericals you need to put a filter, whether it could be ascending, whether it could be descending, it's up to you. And then if they are not having any kind of data, if they are not having any kind of input, you just need to remove. And you can also remove sometimes double a space or a space, so you can avoid that. You just need to remove manually, but it is a very tedious task. Manually it is a very tedious task, because it is very difficult, and it is very problematic when you're going to analyze 500 data sets in an hour. You need to analyze 500 data sets in an hour. It's a very difficult task. You cannot perform 500 in an hour. But we are having softwares, like we are having Notepad Plus, we are having Excel Pro, we are having Mixi. With the help of these data cleaning tools, softwares, we can clean the data. Because if there is any lacuna in the data, we just need to remove that. So when you are going to open Refine, there is a software called Open Refine, or we are having Text Wrangler. So these are the softwares which are really helpful, like Open Refine and Text Wrangler. What they are actually doing, you just need to put a simple keyword, and in the keyword they suggest you what you want. For example, you want to categorize, you want to know like what is the population of a particular district. You have the data. Now the population of a district, now you want to categorize, like what is the age of, like what is the age thing. You want to get a different segment, like how many teenagers, how many adolescents, how many children, how many old people are there in a specific district. So you can analyze with the help of Text Wrangler. In Text Wrangler, you need to just give a command what you want to search, like you want to search age. So they are actually suggesting, they are analyzing, and they are giving you the a kind of a text which are there in ascending or descending order. For example, 500 males, and in 500 males, 700, like 500 males and 400 are the adults, and 20 children, 17 teenagers, something like that. It is actually generating. So we are having Open Refine and we are having Text Wrangler. These are the data cleaning tool we usually use, or Excel is a very basic one. If you want to clean a data set which is of like 2-3 data sets only, then you can do by your own in the Excel. But if you want to work on the large data sets of 400, 500 or 1000, then you can use Open Refine and Data Wrangler. Now we have cleaned the data. Now what we are going to check? Now we need to look for the pattern. We need to look for like something which is not common in between. Like here we are having all the green apples, but we are also having dead apples. So there is something which is, as a researcher, it is showing, it is actually giving us a feeling that this is something unusual. This is something which is, you can say that the outline. So outliers is not having the average, it is not the mean, it is something which is not going with the flow. This is something which is, we need to check. We are having a constituency where we are having primary schools. In all the primary schools, we can also check the pass percentage. Like all the primary schools, they are actually doing well. For example, we are having 100 primary schools and 98 are doing really bad. 2 are doing really good. That means there is something, this is something very exceptional. This is something which is, it is out of, it is not good. And you feel like, oh, there is something fishy. You need to check whether they are actually doing a really good, tremendous job, or there is something, some kind of issue with this. Then we are going to more focus on these 2 schools, because we're not going to more focus on 98 because the pass percentage of all the schools are low. Like only these 2 are doing really well, and they are 98, 99%. They are actually doing it. We are going to work and we are going to analyze the results, the past results of the students who are there in these 2 schools, and then you can check, because yeah, either they are very good, they are having very good infrastructure, they are having very good teachers, or they are just giving marks and they are, there is some kind of something fishy. In Excel tools, we are having sort. You can sort with the alphabetical. Then you can also put filters. Sorting is like always, it is from A to Z or Z to A. And filtering is on the criteria you have mentioned, all the parameters you have mentioned. So the filtering is from the criteria you have mentioned. For example, in your criteria, you are having low income, middle income, and high income group. So you can put a filter on, you want to check middle income group. So you need to just put a filter on the middle income, and then you are going to get the data which are related to the middle income. Then you can also put functions like you can, if you want to check the sum of, you want to calculate the sum of, you want to get the total of A plus B plus C plus D, then you can put functions, and you can also use the pivot tables. Pivot tables tomorrow, like when we are having sessions in the morning, I'll show you like in practical how we are going to actually use these tables. These are the very useful tables you can do. You can use these tables in your like regular research. Like when we are going to use the visualization techniques, how you're going to visualization, like bar graphs and the pie charts. You cannot use everywhere. The pie charts having different narration. The bar graph, they are having different narrations. So we are going to discuss tomorrow in detail related to the pivot tables. And here in the data journalism, this is very basic. Like we need to just follow the basic tools. So we don't need to follow so much of calculations. We don't need to follow so much of formulas. That A plus B, 2A, B. We are not going to follow the whole formula related to the math and stats, but we need to follow the very basic formula. That is 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So same as here in the data journalism, we are going to analyze the data representation. Like if they have representative data, we need to analyze the data and a very like in a primary way. It is something which is easy to understand, because when we are writing for a data story, so we cannot write 5,896, 43% or something like that. You're going to narrate like this. in India, the primary health education system or primary health system is, uh, uh, it's improving. Nowadays, we are having primary health workers. Now we are having this much of Anganwadi workers. So we are actually sharing this story. We are actually sharing the story elements. So what are the story elements for the data? Now, although the data itself, then we are having, sometimes we are having text, we are having audio, we are having charts, we are having numbers, we are having documents, we are having videos, we are having Twitter feeds, we are having Facebook posts, no, we are having some sort of, sometimes we are having quotes, sometimes we are having expert opinion. So all these are related to the data journalism story elements. When we are having the data, when we are having audio, when we are having the charts, with the help of those charts, we can narrate, we can share a story, we can write a detailed story related to only one small pie chart. You know, for example, in India, what are the percentage? Like, do we are actually uh, growing like the government is projecting? Like we are having like the female mortality rate, you know, female feticide, like what is the male and like gender ratio. You can also check, you can also calculate, and you can also check, you can also narrate the stories with the numbers. Like in India, how many number of trials pending? It's in the lakhs, no, in crores. We are having population and number of trials which are left, which are like how many numbers of people behind the bar just because their trial is like an after 6 months or after 8 months or 5 months. So we can also write a story. We can also write a story with the help of the pictures. Simply one picture. You know, I think it is very well mentioned. Uh, like before the pandemic, there was a picture of a Syrian boy who is seeking refuge, you know, and he got known, and they released the picture. The very famous picture of the girl and the vulture. You know, that is just a picture, but that picture is also shared a story. That picture is also sharing, a story which is having a very meaningful uh, depiction on the uh, behavior of the audience. And we are having so many websites. We are having so many crowdsourcing tools. With the help of the crowdsourcing tools, you can also check. And nowadays, we are having very famous for the surveys. We are having Survey Monkey. You want to check like what are the like if a person has shared a kind of a questionnaire and you want to search with the keywords, you can search with the keywords. You can also check what are the respondents have received if they have public their own questionnaire or their surveys. And in the data journalism team, who all are there? It is like you, the reporters, editors, graphic artists, photographers, videographers, page designers, web designers, application developers. All are actually creating uh, and all are generating and all are combining and creating a journalism team. So this is this is the intro of how you're going to write a story for the help of like with the help of data journalism. And tomorrow we are going to have a hands-on experience that how you're going to use different data sets with the help of different softwares, how we are going to refine the data, how we are going to analyze the data, and how we are going to visualize the data. Because this is the process, we need to follow the process. Like the collection, I'm going to show you that how you are going to collect the data from different data sets, from the different sources, which are open source. And then second, we are going to analyze, clean, analyze, and then how we are going to visualize. And then in the last one, how we are going to suggest a conclusion regarding the same. So till now, any questions anybody has, can simply write your questions in the chat box and happy to
Dear
answer.
participants, if you wanted to ask any question, all of you can ask the question from Roberto about the different aspect of data. So do you have any question? Just write in the chat box, or you can directly ask the question from Roberto. Anyone wanted to ask? Just ask the question. The whole system was, totally based upon the different aspects of the data, how we can use the data for the purpose of, positive aspect, how we can use the data for the negative aspect, how we can use the data for the, the story purpose, how we can use the data for the purpose of, social engineering, how we can use the data for the purpose of business, how we can use the data for the, all of you know about the data collection process, or the recently the data used by the Hindenburg, and the how Adani is facing the issue because of the data collection and the data analysis, and after the result of the each and everything. So all of you are free. Data nowadays, data is a very very popular, and everybody is using the data across the globe. Somebody are using the data for the purpose of business. Somebody is using the data for the purpose of career. Somebody is using the data for the purpose of journalism. Somebody is using the data for the purpose of of just managing the corporate value. So there's a lot of use of data across the globe. So just ask the question. There's one question in the chat box. So the question is, data cleaning tool which has open, any data cleaning tool which has open access, any data cleaning software which has open access. So Neelu Sharma is wanted to know about the data cleaning tool and the data cleaning software.
Yeah, we have Wrangler and we are having OpenFrame. So these are the two data cleaning software which you data, and it is you can use it. So what you need to create an account and then you can use it. It is free.
Neelu, you got your answer? Okay, thank you. Anybody else wanted to ask? Okay, so thank you, Rubat sir, for analyzing, describing, and concluding the whole session in a more meaningful way, and covered all the relevant areas related with the data journalism, and elaborated each and everything with suitable logic, example, and with theoretical framework, or the theoretical. So you have explained the whole data journalism with example, with logic, and with theoretical aspects. So I think it's a very do we have once again I'm going to ask some a question, or the if you have any doubt, or if you have any confusion about any aspect of the data journalism, all of your
Rakesh sir,
yes ma'am.
Dr. Rubaid will be coming again tomorrow. There will be an opportunity to have more interaction with more practical sessions. They will be taken up by him again tomorrow. So data journalism, we have given a longer session. We expect the participants to gain practical knowledge too. So
Yes,
I think
yes,
yeah, but they're not.
yes, ma'am. So participants, Rubat sir is coming once again tomorrow, and just he will explain the remaining aspect of the data journalism.
Hands-on practice.
Hands-on
Right?
practice. Yeah,
Yes.
that is more important and interesting. So
Yes.
be ready for the hands-on practice related to the data and the data journalism. And we will meet tomorrow again, and we will discuss the remaining issue with the Rubat sir. So thank you everybody for joining the session. And ma'am, if you wanted to say something.
Yeah, there is announcement. Somebody else want to make any comment or anything? If not, there is an announcement. I didn't hear whether Dr. Rakesh has mentioned it. Tomorrow, actually, Amity, it's a complete close down day because there is an election over here. So
Yes,
some
ma'am.
of these
Local body
sessions,
election. Local body election in the Noida region.
accordingly, we have a little rearranged our sessions, so tomorrow's and one session of today's also. So all the sessions will be conducted, but the new changed timetable will be shared with you. But there will not be any change in this session, but a timing little bit we have adjusted that will be taking place. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Dr. Ruby, and thank you, Dr. Rakesh, for the day. And all the participants, wish you a good day and hope all of you are benefiting out of it. And please give your assessment. It is very important. Assessment and attendance will be taken by the university Vice Chancellor's office for the certification purpose also. And I also request all tomorrow onwards we'll have a group photograph in the morning when we start the session. That is what we were thinking of. We
Yeah,
want
and
to have it
please-
for a
and
record
please-
purpose as well. So please
Yes,
be
ma'am.
ready
And,
for group photograph tomorrow
and
morning.
it's the humble request to all the participants. If you have any kind of issue or the technical glitch or any kind of problem with your camera or the mobile or the laptop, just try to rectify it. Or tomorrow, try to use the fresh handset with all kind of facilities so that we can click the image or the group photograph through the virtual mode. So tomorrow there is a slight change in the schedule because of the local body election in the Noida region, and very soon we'll update you the updated schedule of each resource person. So once again, thank you everybody for joining, and we'll meet tomorrow at the scheduled time. Thank
Okay.
you everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.